Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheem, but the one that is important, this is my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Captain Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Oh, we can't hear Captain Leonard this morning. Something's going on with his connection over there, but
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
I believe we couldn't find that mute button. I believe that's what it was. I believe that brother could not find
if
that
you
mute button.
if you say so, Raheem.
Yeah, that's my story, and I'm gonna stick to it. That's my story, and I'm gonna stick to it. Captain Leonard, today's today.
Yes, sir.
We've been talking about it. We've been letting people know about it.
That's
Today's
right.
today. They got to get out there, man, and flex their muscles. They got to get out there.
It's a big day for citizens of the United States of America.
Yes, sir. And across every city and every state, collectively, they say United States. Well, this is the one where each one have to come together in their own way and let their voices be heard for the whole unit. If that
Oh,
makes sense.
that's right. Only reason why it matters.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And see, let me ask you this, and
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you said it like that. Why is it that most people put more emphasis on the presidential election, but not on the local election, state and government and stuff like that, city, state? Why do they put more emphasis on the president? They'll go out there and vote for a president, but when it comes time to the city, the state, or the county or different things like that, they won't take their time. I'm not gonna say waste their time, because they're certainly not wasting their time, but they won't take the time to get out there and vote. Why do you think that is?
Because the local elections are, you have to be more engaged.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. The presidential election is easy because they serve everything to you on a silver platter. You only
Mm-hmm.
have it's only one election.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the least amount of anything that changes our daily plans is easier to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to the local level, you have to be a lot more informed.
Yeah.
And also you have to search out more information,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not going to be the national election is just that. It's national.
Mm-hmm.
And all media outlets usually want to participate in that, or will participate in that election. However, on the local level, it's more specialized because it's in your area.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be showing us debates and things like that for Wisconsin if we live in Georgia.
Yeah.
So the
Exactly.
people of Wisconsin have to go there for Wisconsin
Mm-hmm.
and in their local areas. And you have to stay a lot more engaged. A lot of times you may even know the person. You may be even more familiar with them because they run regularly in your areas.
Mm-hmm.
So that one is a lot more personal, and it takes a lot more engagement in the local elections. And
So
also, this is a runoff
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
where you have to return and vote again.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important. It's great. We have some states and everything that participated in early voting, even for the runoffs and things of that still, but every place doesn't have that option
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of places. So hopefully you took advantage of that. That's a precursor to this runoff and how the turnout will be.
Exactly. And you might know, like you said, you might know the person. Might
Right.
know that man, that crook,
Yeah.
man. I'm not gonna vote for that crook. I'm gonna vote for anybody that's running against that crook, if I'm gonna vote at all. And
Yeah.
so that's the
I know four of the people in the runoff.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but it's because of them being in the community and things of that nature and working with us and all those types of things in the
Mm-hmm.
community.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what informs my vote, is what they
Mm-hmm.
do in the community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What if a person wasn't as active in the community? You knew them. I know
Hmm.
this. You know the person,
Hmm.
but for whatever reason, they were not as active in the community as a whole. Would you still vote for that person?
Depends on what they did. I'm not saying who's the most active.
Mm-hmm.
It's about what are those people doing in the community. Like I say, everybody have different interests, different lanes
Mm-hmm.
on what it is they like to do. You have some people who are very much into feeding the homeless. You
Yeah.
have some people who are very much into the healthcare part of activism. They,
Mm-hmm.
they have some that are really protesting of due to women's issues,
Mm-hmm.
mental health issues, police brutality issues. So there's lots of different things that these people get involved in.
Mm-hmm.
Up to you to find out.
Okay. Okay. What best fit what it is that you and if your fight was say police brutality
Hmm.
against police brutality and things like that, and that's the part that you really concentrate on the most. But this person is very active in women rights and things of that nature. Would that gear you towards somebody that's more inclined towards police rights for you to vote for, or would you see the passion that this person have in their area and they're very active?
Hmm.
How would you lean? How would you lean?
Well, I like a multifaceted politician.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to be really knowledgeable of all issues
Mm-hmm.
for my taste.
Okay.
At least have some input on those issues.
Mm-hmm.
Know who you're going to assist on those issues, who you're going to work with to figure out certain issues. And I want to make sure that you're plugged into the right people,
Yeah.
places, and things, and that
Mm-hmm.
you're going to commit. Is there something in your campaign that you're promising related to those issues?
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends. I like a well-rounded politician. I don't like no one-trick pony.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. And so that's that. I wanted to have that part of the conversation so people could know, because some people they say, well, they're good at this, but they're not so good at that. Now, not anybody's gonna be perfect at everything. Like you said, you don't want no one trick pony, but at the same time, everybody's not gonna be good at everything.
Right, right, and it's your vote.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of what I'm pushing,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you agree, great. But you may have other folks that you want to support. I know two people who are running in a particular runoff. One of them is a personal friend. So
Mm-hmm.
I know that friend better, and I believe that friend is a better politician, well seasoned, all over the issues,
Mm-hmm.
and very much about the importance of the people.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
running for Secretary of State.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the
Mm-hmm.
first time she's ran. This isn't the first position she's held. But I
Mm-hmm.
know her very well.
And she will represent very well.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay. Okay. And see, that's the thing. That's one of the benefits. The truth of the matter, that and we got a call. We got to go to the call as well. But that's one of the benefits of the local election. They're at the end of your hand.
Yes.
They're at the end of your hand, man. You can reach out. You can touch these people. You could talk to these people. You could go to their office.
Most of them you could have voted and assisted in their campaign because a lot of people you need a lot of help, like getting the word out, knocking on doors and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
probably could have had an opportunity to do that if you went to their website and let them know you were willing to help them.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
Mhm.
And see, and that's one of the things I really wanted to harp on right there, man. These people in the local election, presidential election, you probably never meet them face to face at all. You probably never, come in, being in the same room or maybe even the same state at the same time as the president of the United States of America. But the local elections, man, look, they right there. They're
Oh
in your
yeah,
city, in your
very
state, in your
yeah,
town.
yes, very accessible people
Yeah,
usually on local level.
exactly. We got two callers on the phone line. Let me see who called in first. I want to be respectful. Okay, Rico. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I can't complain, man. Welcome to the new day, man.
Hey, welcome to you as well. Welcome to you as well, brother. We're talking about the days the runoff day, and Rico, what is it that makes a candidate votable? And that's a word. That's a word to you. Make that would push that button and say, okay, I'm going to vote for that person because of this. What is it that makes that person worthy of your vote? Let me say it that way.
Somebody that stands for equal rights,
Mm-hmm.
and they might not just stand on what they believe in their opinion, but the rights of others. I'm gonna give you the prime example. Well, to a certain extent, I think the system might need to be reformed a little bit because I take the fight for abortion or the fight for gay marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I look at those instances and I say, well, you know what? I'm not a gay person. I'm not considering marrying another man.
Mm-hmm.
But what right do I have to tell two men they can't get married if it doesn't impact me? I mean, why should I have an opinion on that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't plan on having an abortion anytime soon. So why should somebody that would never have an opportunity to do that, or don't have an option to do that, never have an urge to do those things, why would I vote on it if it doesn't affect me? Why would I let my vote stop somebody else from having the right to do something that they want to do, and I ain't even concerned about it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I might not agree with it, but if there's a politician that said, well, you know what, I don't agree with gay marriage, I wouldn't want my son to do it, I wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But by God, if these people want to do it, let them do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
It ain't got nothing to do with me, but I'm not going to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we say that we believe in people having the right to live or do what they want to do, we got to understand that sometimes we voting on our opinions of how we feel about something, but we may not even ever have a reason to be involved in what we're voting on.
Mm-hmm.
So why should my 2 cents keep somebody else from having the right to do what they want to do in this life?
Rico,
so I look at a politician that will vote away from their own opinion and just vote for what's right.
Okay. How would you feel about, and we got another call, we'll go to the call as well, but Rico, how would you feel about a person, there's an agenda on the table and it's time for them to make their vote, but they decide not to vote one way or another? They don't take any stance. They don't vote for or against. They say, I'm not going to vote on that particular issue. Can that hinder you from voting for them?
I mean, no, that wouldn't really hinder me because I pretty much just said the same thing. You know, if I don't know, man. It depends. I would have to put a little thought into it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to put a little thought into it because, like I said, if I want to vote on somebody to have their rights, there's a vote on the table for me to help somebody have a right to do something that they have a right to do in his lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably help them or assist them in that manner because I am supposed to be upholding the judicial system or the system of democracy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm upholding it, like I said, even if I agree with it personally, but even if I don't agree with it personally, I still have to go with what's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
So it probably would affect how I would feel about them if they abstain because their vote might be the difference maker and actually helping somebody have rights that they should have. I mean, you know, think about how many white people didn't vote for Juneteenth, or how many white people don't vote for reparations, or some may abstain, and that vote may have been the vote cast that we needed to get by. So you know, you can't abstain. I wouldn't like a person to abstain.
That's good. That's good. Curtis, and we got another call as well. Coming to the other call in a minute. But Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Morning, fellas. Morning. What's going on?
Hey, doing good, brother. We're talking about today's the runoff day for voting. And how would you feel about that, Curtis? If there's, you know, there's an issue on the table, and the person, before I even go there, what is it that gears you towards voting for a particular candidate? What is it that draws Curtis in and say, I'm going to vote for that cat right there because of this reason? What is it that pulls you in?
Their voting record,
Mm.
the things that they have stood for throughout their career. You know, in most cases, what they have represented throughout their career. That's how I measure my vote. Not no conspiracy theories or nothing like that. What have you actually voted for?
Now, what if it's their first time running?
Huh?
What if it's their first time running? How do you gauge that?
What have you voted for? You done ran somewhere for something before.
You done something. You done something.
You done tried to seat somewhere. You might have ran and didn't win. But what were you saying back then? What are you saying now? How does that line up? And if that lines up and what I believe a functioning government should be, then you're gonna get my vote. Outside that, what are you saying that is inevitably possible? There's a part of it that you got to understand. Okay, just because this person win this seat, that don't mean that they're gonna be able to do none of what they say they're gonna try and do. I think that's how politicians mess up at, is they say, I'm gonna do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Man, go ahead with that, man. You're going to go try. I think the people would take it better if you just say, look, it's my initiative to try my best to get this. You stand for, because, you know, in that world, man, there's a whole lot of negotiations and you know, you're gonna give up more than you get, irregardless, you know.
That's good. That's good. I mean, now, Curtis, what if there's an issue on the table? Back to the other question I have, and they decide that, well, I'm not going to vote one way or another on that. I will not vote for that issue. I'm not going to cast my vote on that. How does that lead you with them just being silent and not voting at all on an issue?
The only abstinence in a vote, the only true abstinence in a vote, is when the person that's voting has a conflict of interest. That's the only true abstinence of a vote, right? Is that I'm picked up on is cats will abstain for a vote from voting on a particular topic because they don't want to go on the record one way or the other.
Yeah.
So now what you're telling me is the only thing you're interested in is holding a seat. So that type of person, I'm not going to vote for them.
Okay.
That was one of the things that bothered me with Obama. Obama abstained from a series of votes. That's not to say that he wasn't a good president. By far, in my opinion, one of the best presidents that we ever had, if not the best. But he did abstain from some votes when he got the seat from Chicago before he was president. He abstained from some votes that I felt like it was political move.
Good deal.
His act from his vote had nothing to do with a conflict of interest.
Good deal. Let me keep this thing moving. Got a couple other people on here, Curtis. Appreciate that, man. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, what is it that makes a candidate worthy of your vote? What is it about this particular person that would make Cassandra say, I'm voting for this person for this reason? What is it, Cassandra?
Their policies or their opinions on certain things that are important to me. I want to know that person, their agenda is, it don't have to be exactly like mine, but it has to have a lot of yeses, check marks, and just a few X's. Because they gotta be pushing things that I believe in. That's what it's all about. That's why you want people in office. You want them to pass bills and laws that will better, hopefully, you and your community. Especially your community. For me,
Yeah.
At my age, I want to see my community be better for those that are coming up. So yeah, that's the most important thing to me. That their agenda meets the criteria of a lot of the things that I'm for. And I don't care. Independent, they can be independent. And I actually voted Republican one time because it was about the person. It wasn't about, I felt like they would do what was right, even though they were, Republican.
That's good. That's good. Now, what about a person that abstained from voting on an issue? Can't they just I'm not going one way or another on that particular issue. I'm not going to speak about that. I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to lend my vote on that issue at all. I just won't deal with it. Because what does that say to you about that particular candidate?
Oh, well, they would not get my vote if they do it. I'm not saying if they do it one time, but if they do it repeatedly, they can guarantee they will not have my vote in the next go round, because you are there to help with the issues, not avoid the issues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Charles, I see you moving around there, brother. You with us?
What's up, man? Yeah,
What's
trying to get ready for work. Getting ready for work.
There you go. Charles, what is it that will make a candidate worthy of your vote? You look at all the issues on the table. You say, "Well, I'm voting for this cat for this reason." What makes it? What will make a candidate worthy of your vote?
Specifically, you mean like what I stand on? Because the true answer is pretty much what Cassandra said. We have to match on what I stand for, what I believe that would help America and the black community and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so how it push us, forward. Those things like that, and not hold us back, not handicap and stuff like that. That's how I vote. The way that I believe that things
Mm-hmm.
the way people move.
Okay. Now, Cassandra said just now, she said she voted Republican one time because the candidate she jailed with the candidate. They rocked together, and so a lot of the issues she felt. Has there ever been a Democrat that you I ain't gonna say voted for, but jailed with, and if I'm gonna vote for a Democrat, it's gonna be that cat? Has there
a Democrat president? No, but a Democrat judge, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a Democrat judge I voted for in Decatur, yeah, but not a president. I've only voted Libertarian and Republican, because I've never found a Democrat that I, growing up the way I grew up and the way I listened to my parents and things talk, I've always thought that the Democrat was the man.
Mm-hmm.
Doing my studying how the Democrats moved in the black community and stuff like that, I didn't trust them to at all.
I mean, Charles, hold on for a minute. You saying you grew up in a Democratic household?
No, the way I grew up, and my parents
I
would
thought you
talk
said
about Democrats.
Okay, got you.
Well, they wouldn't talk about Democrats. They would really talk about politicians.
Mm-hmm.
And every politician that they had the bad word for were the ones that were coming around every 4 years, which were Democrats.
Okay.
So I figured that they were the man, because everybody was talking about, well, the man this, the man that. The man is the Democrat.
I'm with you now. I'm with you. What you're saying? Okay, I miss what you were saying. I'm with you now. Good deal. Ibrahim.
Yes.
Man, we talking about voting this morning, and this is not a topic. We starting off with the voting issue. What is it that makes a candidate worthy of your vote? Make you say, I'm gonna vote for this cat. I'm with him or I'm with her. This one I'm gonna vote for. What is it?
Well, I have to know what the candidate thinks and what they really think. I had to hear them talk. I had to hear them see their records if they have one. They don't have a record. What their foremost thing it is, or their reliability. Because you can't, nowadays you can't get it all. One size don't fit all. If somebody's trying to tell me that, I know right then they're false. Because things I'm looking for, I'm to the right of center. I don't agree with abortions, but I don't agree with people imprisoning nobody or not having some type of situation where you can allow abortion to be done. I'm an economic person. I'm for economics, but I'm not a so to speak, a capitalist or trickle down theory. I'm a Keynesian economic theorist, and I just one size don't fit all, because I've seen the Democrats one way, and I've seen the Republicans become Democrats. You know what I mean? So the racial part and everything, the racism and the self-loathing and hatred, and anything good they do, anything good for us is good for the country. But our black officers think that anything is good for America is good for blacks. I think it's the vice versa. I would like to see reparations done in the proper sense, right? To like people in 1900. I'd like to see a curbing of the police state. I would like to see removal of the laws, the protect and serve law of 2019. I would like to see that removed. I would like to see everybody be treated as citizens, even the police. They're citizens. They're not, they're not over us. They're to help enforce our laws. I'd like to see them to be accountable. I'd like to see all politicians to be accountable. I'd like to see the President of the United States fit in his role, not necessarily as a leader, but an enforcement of the Constitution and the legislative body be legislators and stop being politicians. You know, so in other words, I want, you know, I want Wonderland.
Now you said in what you were saying, and I got a couple other calls. I want to get to them as well. But you said in what you said that you are against abortion. Is there any circumstances where you would say, well, it's okay for that person to have an abortion?
Yes, there are myriad of circumstances. You know, that would be anybody criminally where the woman was forced against her will for whatever reason, right? I think she should be entitled to have an abortion. There should not be an issue with that, right? It's a decision, you know what I mean? But I'm against abortion because abortion is not just a woman's issue; it's the state. I mean, it is your community, is your people. You know, it's a lot of other things that go into that, right? Make, you know, possible for that woman to have a baby, or to live to see it, to live the chance to have a child, or not to have one, right? So I think that's a collective issue more so.
Let me go. Okay, let me go to because I can't speak for a young lady, but Cassandra, being a young lady, she can. Cassandra, how do you feel about that? Cassandra? Cassandra must be in a bad spot. Cassandra, when you're free, come back in. I want to hear your heart on that particular issue, but concerning abortions. But right now, let me go to Badger. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Badger, what is it that will make a candidate worthy of your vote? That will make you say that I'm going to vote for this person, he or she, for this reason?
They have a history of helping the people, all people. I mean, they can't just speak nice words. They need to have action behind it. Like it.
Come on, Badger.
There's too many politicians up there that have been really good at silver tongues and tricking people, even some that consider themselves intelligent, to vote for them.
Wasushi cut the hair. Wasushi cut the hair.
Do what?
Wasushi cut the hair, Badger.
Oh. Anyway. He just threw me off. I'm sorry.
I see he threw you. I'm gonna come back to you, brother. He took you all the way off the track with that one. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Like I said, to each, his own for why they vote, but an informed vote is the best vote. Also, the vote is very strategic. It helps to vote against people as well. So you have to look at all of the issues that they are, there are some people who are running for office and winning for the worst reasons you can imagine. And you have to know who those people are. That's why you have to be informed, and you have to look at both sides, because there are people running for office with an agenda that is completely against certain groups. We've heard all the hatred towards LGBT community. We hear the support for people who cheered the former president say, rough them up. We have to be very careful about who we allow to get into office. Like when people talk about, well, this I don't know the issues and this, that, and the other, but do you know about the other side and what they're doing? We may need your vote to block them. Politics is very strategic in that instance. You have some people who, if they say great things, I'm gonna vote for them. But are you going to vote against the people that say the bad thing?
Come on.
See, the vote works both ways, and that's why everyone should be concerned. I'm very much about freedom and independence for most people. I can't think of any reason why I would vote against a freedom type of vote. I'm very liberal in that instance. However, financially, I'm extremely conservative.
That's good. That's good.
I believe in conservative management of finite resources. So it's very important that we take into consideration a lot of things when we vote, and not just what we make us feel good. Be very strategic about your vote.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Captain, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, my brothers. Peace to the gods.
Hey, peace to you as well. What you say? What you say?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Got you. Captain, I'm asking a question. You know, today is the runoff day for the election, and I'm asking a question. What is it that will make a candidate worthy of your vote? You look at them and you say, okay, I'm gonna vote for that person for this reason. What is it that will make a person worthy of your vote?
well, let me say this. We was very honored to come in to hear Professor Leonard, our political analyst. I think he should be on CNN. He has a great understanding of how politics go. He have a great understanding of the political system. I like how he represented, and it makes sense. I'm not into the politics on that level, but I will answer the question, and that is, what would make me vote for any political candidate is that he's willing to sign on the dotted line that if he ever betrays the aspiration and the wish of those who put him in office, that he's given us permission to take his life. Now that's kind of a little extreme. But I do believe that he has to be willing to understand the consequences of betrayal, and he has to be held accountable, and he does not go and do his bidding. He goes and do the bidding of his constituents, and do not deter or deviate from what his constituents send him into office to do. I think if we had those kind of candidates who understand the price they pay for that kind of betrayal, I think I'm willing to get behind them.
That's good. That's good. Charles, talk to me, brother. I saw you down in your head over there.
I agree with Cap on that, man. If they had that kind of stipulation out there about voting or the candidates, then you would see more people being accountable for the things that they say and what they do. I'm gonna tell you something. When I turned on the thing, and I was surprised, honestly, when I heard you asked the question, and Curtis, the second question, I forgot what it is, but Curtis mentioned Obama. At that moment, I was thinking the exact thing what Curtis was saying, because what I do is, like, candidates, if I'm going to vote on something, I do go look at how they voted and things like that. Obama didn't reach the criteria for me, and because of his past voting as a senator, and I was pleasantly surprised, because honestly, a lot of times we don't speak the truth about things. Curtis said, "Hey, this is what Obama didn't do," and that's the exact thing of what turned me off about Obama. I don't vote skin color. I don't do that at all, because I knew, that was a trick right there in the beginning. But he surprised me on that, and I do agree with Leonard also when he say vote strategically. So when somebody votes strategically, Democrat all the way down, they're voting strategically. When somebody votes strategically, Republican all the way down, they're voting strategically. You can't get mad at that, because that's what you say, vote strategically, because that's what voting is about. You want to get the other people out that you don't believe are doing the right things for the beliefs that you have. And also, it's a lot of things that I agree with what guys are saying on here, about voting.
That's good. That's good.
But I just don't vote the same way that a lot of guys vote on.
Well, everybody, and voting is an individual thing, and that's what it is.
That's a good thing you just said. Voting is an individual thing, but a lot of people think it's a group thing.
No, voting is
You
individual.
black, you gotta vote Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to vote Democrat.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can agree with you. I can agree with you because, like I said again, voting is definitely an individual thing, and every individual have the right to vote the way that they feel that they want to vote. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, and you can't vote strategically if you don't even understand the process.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed certain groups, even though you vote individually, as groups they come with the same agenda, and individually vote to get that agenda across. And so I noticed in some groups we don't vote strategically. We just vote randomly. We don't pay attention to politics strategically or consistently. We just get involved when it's time to go vote.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mainly the popular election. See, like right now we might be talking about the presidential elections and congressional elections. But, like Leonard was saying, we got the runoffs. These are state.
Yes.
A lot of state positions.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it might be some people with the local elections, but just how important those local elections are. And with the state elections, you really need the people that's trying to run for positions to explain to you correctly what they can and can't do. A lot of people buy the propaganda. They just drink the Kool-Aid. When I get in office, I'm going to get this done. We're going to get that done. We're going to go to Washington. We're going to overturn this. But I got a friend that's running for a state. He's running Democratic. He's running for a state seat named Danny McCullough. He's a white guy. And I was friends with him before he decided to run. That's why when he ran, I was glad that he ran. I knew his stance. And I thought he was going to run on the Republican ticket because he probably could have won, but he's a little bit too against the grain. They wasn't going to accept him. But when he's campaigning or speaking to people, he speaks it the way that it should be heard. He'll tell people, I'm going to go and lobby my other compadres or fellow politicians to get these things done. He never says, I'm going to get this done.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to change this. We're going to change that. He always says that he has to go in and how he's going to vote, what he's going to support, and how he's going to try to gain support and momentum from the other politicians. So, that stands out to me because he's not just selling everybody a lot of dreams.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's selling them a reality. They look, this is what I'm going to stand on. But at the same time, I've got to convince other people to do it too. So you go and talk to your friends in this other community that may have to back both of these other people and see if we could get the whole system changed. Let's see if we could get some of these Republicans out of Alabama state seats and get some Democrats in there. Mm-hmm. Talk to some of your friends in neighboring counties. Talk to some of your people that you work with that travel from the Honda plant from 3 or 4 different counties over that have different politicians that represent them and talk to them to help me get this accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he pretty much puts it out on the table, man, and it's clear and understood that one man ain't going to go up in there and change everything, not even the president.
Yeah.
Going to get in that seat and change everything the way he wants to. But if you're not careful, you'll listen to these people in the campaigns and you'll think, this is my guy, and he's going to make it happen. And it's not like that.
No, not at all. Not at all. Curtis, talk to me, brother. Cassandra, coming to you next.
About what?
What we talking about, Curtis? You with us this morning?
It ain't much more to say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, I'm a Democrat, been a Democrat since I can remember. But I did like certain things that Reagan was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I like certain things that Bush was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Bush might have been the president that was needed for that time, right? But all at the same, I pay attention to what folks do, not what the media is putting out to tell me what they're doing, but what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So a large reason that I have been Democrat ain't got nothing to do with me being black. It has absolutely nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at what happened throughout everything over the last 7 years, last 7 years, 6 years, I wouldn't if you was Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Kuli Racha from the Babacha tribe. What we saw was gross negligence, willful negligence, and against the law, against the Constitution.
Are you talking about the Trump January 6th situation?
This whole thing, man, that whole thing, that was against the law. I don't care what party you in. And the problem that we have is that America has become more loyal to a party than they have to their own self-interest. They have become more loyal to a party than they have to their own constitution. A constitution for which, for the most part, we wrote. So I hear folks, and I'll be the first one to criticize if someone in my party makes a horrible, deplorable decision. But that don't mean, like, the way I perceive things, man, is listen, if you're going to be blind to your party, but be eyes wide open to everybody else's party, then what that tells me is that you truly have a lack of accountability for your own people. You truly are walking around here voting in terms of your party and not in terms of the representation of what is morally or justly right. And I'll end it with this. I gotta ask, man, because we all on here at 40 and above. I remember a time where they were throwing out conspiracy charges on drug offenders like it was water running out the faucet. Like they was giving that time out like welfare cheese. Now all of a sudden, conspiracy is not even it's not even put on the table. So I get it. People have representation that may shift over time, ideologies that may shift over time. But I have always been a conservative Democrat, always.
Okay. Good, Cassandra. What's on your heart?
Yeah, somebody said about a candidate getting in and not doing what they say, but what we have to realize is that they can only do what they're allowed to do almost, because it takes votes to get a law passed, a bill passed. So your person may have all of the good intentions in the world, but if you got a bunch of people on the opposite side say, "Oh, we ain't doing that, we ain't doing, we ain't vote for that," no, I don't care. I don't care how good that will be for everybody. We ain't doing it. We just ain't doing it. That right there is, I think, our biggest problem. That people will not do what's right, just like somebody just said. They won't do what's right. They're gonna just do what their party says per se, not what's right. It's not about the people. It's not about people. It's not about what is best for the people in this country. It's about what your party says. What the hell is? Excuse me. What the heck is that?
Wow. And you know what? We can stay here for another 20, 30 minutes. But I'm gonna move on to our next topic. Anybody have anything they want to say before we move on to something else? Anybody have anything on their heart?
I think it's important. That's important. The one important reason why we have to understand you have to have bipartisan communication and cooperation. Some of these politicians, when they run, they'll let you know, look, man, I'm gonna reach across the aisle to some of my opponents and speak on some of these issues that we need to address because it ain't right, whether it's minimum wage or child care reform, judicial reform, police reform, you name it. Some of them actually, they speak what needs to be heard. Like I said, you know when people are just going with status quo and just the rhetoric as usual. You know, there's a woman right down here right now. The last 3 debates she's had, she didn't even know what they were talking about on some of the stuff. She said it, I don't know what that is. And then she'll go right to MAGA, and I want to make America great again, and Trump. And guess what? She in the runoff. When I tell you, unqualified, look like she on dope. I mean, a complete wreck. But her name and her pool and her support has her in a runoff right now, man. I mean, if y'all were down here to actually see how this woman debated and how she did her interview, like right now, she won't even do a live interview. She'll answer the questions and send them in. That lets you know somebody probably answered the question for her.
Yeah.
But when they got that camera on her and that microphone in that face, she out of order. She's out of place. She does not belong. But, you know, that's how easy it is. Actually, once, you know, that's the other side of the game that many people don't realize. And once again, like everybody was just saying, for some reason, she has unconditional support just because of the party that she runs for and the name she keeps spewing. Second Amendment, this, I like to hunt. Man, come on. The only thing you shooting is probably something in your arms.
Wow.
But she, you know, she's speaking that propaganda and that rhetoric, and people fall for it, you know. And honestly, I think some voters already know it's propaganda and rhetoric. They know the true reason why they vote the way they vote. But it's just the others of us that don't realize the other agenda that's in play that makes people go ahead and say, well, these are the reasons that I'm voting this way. But Curtis said something huge. It's a hard country for a black conservative, male or female. It's a hard place. So, you know, that's why I don't really have a huge problem with Charles. I mean, I got a slight issue, you know what I'm saying? It's just with the way the history of things go. You know what I'm saying? Small issues with Charles, you know, being a Republican, but, you know, that's his right. I ain't got that much against him for that because I can understand it. Like Curtis said, there are so many things that I've heard Republicans say that I have to catch myself tossing and turning about, like, man, do I want to support this joker, man? I mean, come on. I mean, look, Trump said something last night. Man, I almost caught myself saying something stupid, man. I just had to say, you know what? I ain't supposed to support this man, but I got to give it to him. He told the truth, and it was funny.
Wow.
So, you know, it's hard supporting people or just having these unconditional loyalties, you know, to be honest. Sometimes maybe we should vote Republican. Who knows? But I know there are a lot of things that they stand for that I agree with.
Okay.
But then there are too many things that they stand for that I don't agree with.
That's good. That's good. Charles, you had your hand up, brother. What's on your heart?
Yeah, man. Certain things like agendas that are out there that make me decide on how I vote. And if you know, I really didn't even understand that I was Republican or I voted Republican. I always voted Republican. I just didn't look at it as I'm a Republican until when I had time to sit down and study when I was in prison, and I studied. I was like, dang, man, I'm a Republican. You know, because I've never voted for a Democrat president ever. Now I voted for a Libertarian president. And I studied. And one thing I learned, even when I was from the first time I voted until now, when I vote and I put two candidates next to each other, I write down pros and cons, certain things that will make me not vote for you. If a person stood up and I loved everything they said, and then they turned around and said, they asked them a question if you know what a woman is, and they didn't have the answer, a flag would go off. Or if a person, I loved everything they said, and then the last thing they said was, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, a light would go off. And I would have to start studying, okay, what's this guy's agenda? I can't align with that. That sounds like slave master stuff. You understand? You can't tell me that I ain't black and you white. You know, I don't even let black folks tell me I ain't black. You know, so a white person ain't gonna tell me that. So something's going on. Either I'm not gonna vote at all, because if I hate the other candidate, I'm still not gonna vote for him because of this candidate. I don't like this one. I probably won't vote. But I've never been put in that situation that I never just didn't vote. There's always been something that on that balance scale that tilted it a certain way that always made me vote the way I vote, because it's hard to find a black guy that votes Republican who just align himself with it, because you always, if you're raised in a black neighborhood like me, and you still align with the party that that neighborhood votes with, then you had to study to get out of that. You understand? It's not like, well, I'm just waking up to vote Republican. Or no, you had to look at something and say, well, I'm pretty much going against my family, my friends, and everybody who vote a certain way. And that's just how it is when you know you vote. If you and you stand, I stand strong. And when people say Charles this, Charles that, I really don't. I thank God that I don't care what people think about me, whether they praise me or hate me. But I'm still gonna be Charles, and I'm gonna vote the way Charles vote for that. I feel that's gonna help my family first. My family first, because self-preservation is number one. And then
let me throw this question at you, Charles.
You help my family, and my family can help the world.
Okay, Charles, let me throw this question at you real quickly, and give me your quick answer, because I want to move to some other people as well. But what is it that will make an individual, not Charles, an individual, loyal to a party, Republican, Democratic, Independent, whatever? What is it that will make a person, because that could be another form of divisiveness that has divided the world. I'm going to be here, I'm going to be here. And you won't open yourself up to really listen or hear to what somebody else is saying because of your loyalty to a certain party. So what will make an individual loyal to a party?
What makes people loyal to parties is what that party stand on, or what they believe that party stands on. Now, also, my opinion is what make people loyal to a party is that their parents or grandparents voted a certain way, and they say you better vote that way, because if you don't vote that way, then you are this type person or that type person. So those type of things, like a threatening loyalty, is what a lot of people do. A blind loyalty, an ignorant loyalty, those things are true too. But most of what I've seen, threatening loyalty to me, I've seen that a lot.
Okay.
The name calling and stuff like that.
I asked a specific brother a question, brother. Let's stay with the question for a second.
You break it up a little bit, so I'm not trying to ignore your question.
Okay. What will make a person loyal to a certain party? What will make a person loyal to a certain party?
What makes a person loyal to a certain party?
Yes.
Like I just said.
But what go ahead.
Certain situations in their life, I guess, and like I said, they're loyal because their parents did it that way, or they're loyal because their grandparents did it that way, or they're loyal because their community does a certain way, or I would say, I was told by a Democrat told me that 70% of people who vote Democrat, blacks, don't even study what they're voting about. They just do it and follow it. Now, that was his opinion, and he was and his major was political science, but it was still his opinion.
Okay. Captain, what did you say to that? What makes a person loyal to a certain party?
Well, y'all got me. I'm like a fish out of water. I mean, I'm I did the political jargon or the political science. I'm just, that's not just me. I can't speak on politics. I see it as a pile of tricks. So I have a different view on the political system and politicians. However, I can only assume what makes one loyal to a party. I think Charles kind of really said the same thing. It's their self-interest. It's that they believe that party is representing them to the fullest. I mean, and I mean, it's like anything you become loyal to. It don't have to be, are you loyal to a political party? Why are you loyal to a gang? Why are you loyal to an organization? Why are you loyal to your faith and belief? It's based upon what it does for you, that you feel represent you to the fullest. And that's my opinion there, brother.
Good deal, good deal. Brother Hicks, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Doing fine, and you?
Hey, doing good. I'm coming to you, Hicks. Tell me, what do you think it is that makes an individual loyal to a certain party, be it Democratic, Republican, or whatever?
I think for us as the people, just my understanding of history, we're mostly automatically Democratic because they always promise to give us something. You know, but I think what makes you loyal is what makes us loyal is people that are gonna give us the most stuff. I think that at this point in the history of this country, the world, perhaps we had a dividing point between just some clear signs, right and wrong. I mean, the left stands for what it stands for, and the right and the center stands for what it stands for. I sort of stand in the middle. I don't believe in all this the you think language and redefining. I mean, when a whole political party can't decide what a woman is, it's clear to me. I'm not moving for nothing on that side. I don't want anything to do with that. Period. They can't answer that question. I don't care who they are. They are definitely out of the scope of reality.
Now, what do you have the biggest issue with? The person that does not answer the question, or the person that's asking the question?
The person that don't answer the question is the politician. It's for instance with this January 6th and with all the different impeachment things. And I mean, Trump was a real ass, for real. But I tell you this, he fought them rascals back, and that's the only way he could fight them. They were never fair. They don't play fair with anything. They're Democrats, period. Never had the history, the foundation. For me, what makes me loyal, I go to the very origin of a party. And I see the origin of the Democrats throughout the history. And if they rule, they'll bring socialism, communism, and bodies are stacked up again. Instead of canceling people, they put people in rethink states, just like they did with that guy that wrote the book about Obama. Locked him in jail and locked him up for rethinking and stuff, just political power. But the Democrats never played fair. From Kennedy all the way back, all of them, none of them.
Okay. Leonard?
Sir?
The Democrats never played fair from all the way back in history. What do you say to that?
I don't have no comment on that. I don't know what issues they would be talking about in history and things like that when it comes to that. So I'm not big on that type of thing so much as it relates to history.
Well, the Democratic Party, the Ku Klux Klan by Roosevelt in the White House filming that thing, and the research of the KKK, the eugenics movement. I mean, even Planned Parenthood, this whole abortion issue, it originated in a eugenics move to really limit our population. You know, I mean, it's like that thing in the Bible: kill the firstborn, kill them, keep their numbers manageable, because if they ever get powerful and get enough people. Think about all the babies, all the black babies that are floating around in some kind of chem labs now, doing things with them, selling parts. This whole industry, and that's all, and all the they all. I mean, listen, there's two kinds of snakes: poison snake and a harmless snake, but they snakes.
Okay.
But I've never heard of anyone forced to have an abortion. Not by the state. Maybe by their parents, but not by the state.
Okay.
Well, I see what you're saying, but it's the snake that rules the thing. It's the powers. You know, there's a scripture about my mother used to always have me read when I was a child, and because I wanted to fight, and I didn't end up fighting. I ended up being what you call. Of course, we had a couple of weeks about being a revolutionary and fighting. You know, the thing is, the odd thing about it, you become the same monster that you're fighting. You have to go deeper into it than them. It's like, although we walk in the flesh, we don't war after the flesh, but our weapons are mighty. And it's talk about be not conformed to the world, but be transformed by renewal of the mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think that
Brother Hicks, we got
in annals of history. Okay.
Okay.
1,000 years from now,
Mhm.
when we recognize that the politics is not our root out, then we'll find something else.
Okay, hold on for a minute. We got a few people on there. I want to hold on, Charles. I got to circle my way around, brother. Let me go to Toya with a T. Toya, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. You've been listening in to the conversation. What's on your heart, sis?
What was the question? I've been hearing comments, but not the question.
Well, we started off asking the question: what makes Toya with a T? What makes her loyal to a certain candidate? What is it that makes this candidate? If you listen to everything that's going on, what is it that makes that particular candidate worthy of your vote?
If they care about the people, if they care about me, that's my main concern out of all of this. At the end of the day, they talk a good game, but do you really care about the people? Do you really care about our conditions?
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? A lot of these people just get up here and they just talk, like a boyfriend, like a man trying to pick somebody up. And as soon as you get the date and get the booty, you go back to being stupid or disappearing. These politicians are the same way. They talk a good game till they get the date, they get in office, and then what happened? You don't hear nothing. They forgot about all their promises. You know, so for me, I don't really put my loyalty in politicians because that's not a loyalty arena.
Mm-hmm.
Like politics, we know that they're known for being liars. So I don't have a loyalty. My loyalty as a human being is to the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not being discriminatory. It might be my people first because I'm Black, and that's who I identify with first, like everybody else do. But I'm not a racist, so generally I care about what happens to people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No, I don't want white people to be forced into slavery like we was, talking about, oh, it's their turn. I don't want that. So you being a Black politician, that's not gonna make me be loyal to you. Because I want what's right for the people, all the way around, all the way across the board. I don't want nobody being treated better, and I don't want nobody treated lower. I want us to all have an equal chance, equal opportunity, and I want to be able to see it when we walk down the street, when we get pulled over by police, when we buy houses, when we get loans. That's the candidate that I'm looking to represent or to support. But using the word loyalty and politics, I ain't gonna be able to do that one, because if you're a Republican, because I normally am on the Democrat side, but if you're a Republican and you're talking a better game than what a Democrat is, guess who finna get voted for you? Guess who finna vote for you? Because if the Democrats ain't talking about nothing that's gonna move us forward, they're not talking about anything that's gonna be for the people, because that's all I care about, then I'm not going to vote for that person. It ain't about loyalty to the Democrat. Oh, you're being loyal to the Democratic Party, but they're doing dumb, idiotic things. No, we're not going to do that one either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Badger, talk to me. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. A quick comment. You can trust the government, just ask a Native American. It's kind of my viewpoint. So I know there's a lot of history from both parties doing a lot of things to people. And at this point, I don't care who they are. I don't like if they're Democrat, Republican, it's a label. What bills are they voting for? What bills are they writing?
Mm-hmm.
That is what should matter. In my opinion, getting loyal to a party can cause confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Because normally when you're loyal to something, you can end up trusting it too much.
To a fault. Yeah. To a fault.
So that's why I always laugh when we talk about politics like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm just like, the simplicity of voting is you do your research. Shoot, I'd wish every politician would wear a jacket like NASCAR and all these other people that do sports that show all the people that back them up instead of having to get online, having to look it up all the time. It's crazy how many politicians on the Republican side are sponsored by the people that were doing the COVID virus. Oop, I'm not supposed to say that, am I? So it's one of those things of, if you don't have time to do actual research, I don't think people that can't do research should vote.
Wow.
Because they always end up making ignorant decisions. It's
Wow.
like in Texas, we got amazing candidates. Governor Abbott's probably going to get elected again. And then people are going to complain that Texas really isn't growing again. But they'll vote the same way because Texas is primarily Republican. So, to me, looking at like the situations, the bills, the voting, and all that kind of stuff, most of voting just seems like it's a bunch of sheeple voting, and they don't know what really is going on. They're not taking the time out of their day to look at all the bills that's passed and hasn't passed based on what is needed for the people. You know, people talk about healthcare, people talk about the gas prices and all this other stuff. Guess who are the people who are fighting against making the gas prices go low again?
Wow.
Like, just use your brain. Take some time to do research. And if you're not willing to do that, don't vote. So that way you don't screw things up.
Good deal. Let's keep this thing going, man. Who I got now? Let me go to Curtis. Curtis hasn't said in a minute. Curtis, what's on your heart? Kurt, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here right now. I'm just processing everything I just heard. And Badge is absolutely right. And I'm gonna piggyback him and say that when you do your research, don't do your research with a biased eye or a biased opinion. When you do research, you have to research
the facts
from all spectrums. You can't just research and just look at correspondence that are like, I know people that do research that pretty much they'll only look at the Washington Post. The Washington Post is a conservative magazine, right? It's a conservative media outlet, or they'll only look at Fox. No, that's not proper research, because these people, their research is skewed. It's just like if I was being a Democrat, if the only thing my research is based off of is MSNBC, their research is skewed. It's to get a point across. Now, I don't know why we done got to a point that we don't allow for our party affiliation to not allow for us to see what is true and what is a lie. Right? You know, and I heard someone say, you know, where they couldn't vote this way because such and such said this and such said that. Right? If you're not voting for me, you're not black. If you're well, I'm the other end of the spectrum, because I also remember hearing a guy say that if you was poor, there's nowhere in the world he would make you the Fed chairman. If you was poor, if you was poor, you can't work for me. And I was bothered by that specifically because I know personally people who was bottom poor.
Now, he didn't say poor. That brother said po. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. He said po. There's a difference.
And they created a form of wealth for themselves and their family. They pulled themselves up by the bootstraps. So are you telling me that a poor person could not run the treasury? Is that what you want me to believe, that a poor person does not have the education that a rich person has?
That's wide open there, Curtis. That's wide open, brother. Yeah,
so I can pull, and I only say that because of this, Raheem. Here's why I say it. I grew up butt-booted poor. Butt-booty poor. Raheem, I graduated from Ivy League school now. I'm not a dummy. I might have been a dummy in high school. That was because I chose to be a dummy. Right? But I have a really good education. I'm a rather smart guy.
But Curtis,
so
I have to say this here too, though, brother. You have to understand that you became that. You became that. You walked that path. And the reason why I say that, because when you say you was about po and you said all things, you didn't understand finances like you did when you went through school and you learned and you was taught. I'm not here to defend anything that anybody say one way or another, but my thing is, if a person is not taught, finances, it says somewhere I read where it says a fool and his money will soon depart, because he or she don't understand the concept of money. And so if you don't understand the concept of money, if you don't understand how money works, then it's going to be very hard for you to obtain hold on to that money. It's going to be very hard for you to obtain and hold on to that money. So I again, I like to deal with both sides of the coin. Not saying you're right or not. You have your opinion, and I respect your opinion. But I also say that if a person is not educated on finance, I've seen a lot of people that had a lot of money that didn't know about finances and lost their money because they didn't understand the concept of finances and how finances work. And so, I have to talk.
I'm not.
Go ahead.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. What you're saying is absolutely correct. But at the same time, okay, let me put it like this right here. Most of us on here come from poverty. So should I rate your ability to succeed based on how much money you have?
No.
Because if I go with what you're saying, then I'm saying, Raheem, because you was poor, you can't have this radio station. Because you was poor, you can't hold public office. Oh, because you was poor, you can't come and work in my cabinet. Is that right?
No. And again, I'm not gonna say this conversation right here. Maybe it could be 3 days. We could be 3 days.
I'm just throwing it out there only because it's funny how people will choose and pick certain things. Whereas, like, even down to me being a Democrat, when okay,
wrap it up, Curtis. I got to pull more people into the conversation. Wrap it up for me, Curtis. I got to pull some more people in, brother.
When the Twin Towers happening, this, that, and the third, and the former President Bush said, okay, we going after them. I didn't negate him on that. Okay. 4,000 people perished on that day. No, let's go after them.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
But we're talking about a situation. And I'm gonna end it with this. We're talking about a situation when the man wanted to go after the man responsible. The kickback party gave him every pushback on going after the man that was responsible for that they say is responsible for 911.
Okay, we got to keep it moving because we're pouring a lot of different ingredients into the soup right now. We're pouring a lot of different ingredients into this. Let me go. I'm gonna switch up the topic real quickly, and I'm gonna ask this question. Captain, I'm coming to you first. Captain, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
What is the best / worst thing that history has taught you?
What is this slash?
The best / or worst thing that history has taught you, and let's narrow it down a little bit about mankind.
Well, that's a loaded question, very loaded question. I think history have taught me that men are condemned to repeat it if they fail to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Repeated history is not good history. If we have to say that we're repeating the history of the 60s, then that means we have failed to correct the mistakes of the past.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned that repeated history is not good history. Repeated history is failed history.
Mm-hmm.
But the good thing about failed history, there's no such thing to a scientist of a failed experiment. Because even in his failure, he learns. The good part of history is that it's best qualified to reward all of our research. That's the good thing about history.
Mm-hmm.
It is best qualified to reward all of our research.
I need my number, right?
Go ahead, I got it. Go ahead, Captain.
I'm a very astute student of history.
Mm-hmm.
I love history, but we have to take what we have of both,
Mm-hmm.
the past, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
One thing it does teach me is the nature of human beings. And all human beings have the same nature. And when you understand the nature of human beings, then you don't become deceived by their actions. Because all of us have learned that we come from a mighty creator.
Mm-hmm.
And in that creator, he have put us under immutable principles and law that we cannot come out of. And man has the ability to step out of the nature of that law. And what he does with it would determine the outcome, whether he would be considered a bad character or a good character. And I think that that's the beauty of history. That's the beauty of our ability to learn from human mistakes, that we don't repeat them. We're
Mm-hmm.
always going to make mistakes, family, but let's make some new ones.
Yeah,
I hope
exactly.
I answered the question.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Leonard, what is the best, worst thing that history has taught you?
Well, the one thing that history has taught me, I don't know if it's best or worse, is the level of ignorance of people who claim superiority, yet manage to find enough support to be in power. So, it don't take a whole lot to be in power. You just have to want to do it. And I think that some people avoid leadership and avoid the responsibility of leadership and power,
Mm-hmm.
specifically in the African American community. You have to take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way this thing works. It's the only way it's going to work out well for you. I don't care who you are. The way to get yourself out of a mess is to raise your standards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people, and this is the thing that I've realized, that everyone does not want higher standards.
Mm.
That's the issue. everybody does not want to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's not interested in y'all's heaven or y'all utopia, nirvana, or wherever y'all want. There's an evil amongst men that it does not matter how much you pray for them or support them.
Mm-hmm.
They are sinful and they are filthy. And it is in their behavior, and they usually can't separate themselves from it.
Wow. 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 That's heavy right there, brother. Rico, talk to me. What is the best or the worst thing that history has taught you? Rico?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm gonna try to find a way to even entertain this question because it ain't nothing negative, man. I can't wrap my brain around even trying to get to the point to answer something like that. So it's gonna be short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
History taught me that don't nobody live forever. I mean, you know, getting to this thing about best and worst, man. There's so many different experiences that you could have. You know, you bring up a worst experience in history or just in your life experience, and you'll end up thinking of another one.
Mm-hmm.
Think of your best one and you'll think about another one. And to be honest with you, I could care less what everybody else's answer is.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to say thank you for making a point on that last question about that what determines if you want to vote Democrat, but about how somebody answers the question.
Mm-hmm.
You made the perfect response because I was thinking about it, and it really goes to show me that this is one thing that history has shown me is that we could easily be misled and then not hold the person accountable for instigating the mess
Mm-hmm.
or causing the confusion. Now that woman might have said or didn't answer the question that was asked about whether it's a woman, but I would also look at the side eye with the ignorant fool that even asked that question because it shouldn't be a question to even ask.
Mm-hmm.
There should be no confusion about it. So if she should be held accountable for not being able to answer it properly, he should be held accountable for even making it an issue because it shouldn't be an issue of what a woman or a man is. We've been knowing what a woman and a man is since birth.
Mm-hmm.
So who the fool that thought to make it an issue, to bring that energy to the table, to introduce that confusion that really shouldn't even exist, and then to make it a point to the where he doesn't even get held accountable. See, Curtis said something earlier about holding people accountable even when they're from in your own party,
Mm-hmm.
and not being biased, not having a double standard. And we heard it right there. She got held accountable or got looked at sideways for not answering the question. But the fool that even made the question up and made it an issue, just get a pat on the back. Yeah, you got it. You crossed her up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, it's a confusing question because it should be already understood what a man or a woman is.
Mm-hmm.
It's been proven.
Yeah.
So once again, deflection. I like what Badger said earlier. I want to make sure I give him credit for that too. When you're gonna do some research, man, do some digging, do some real research. Find out who supports these people, who donates money to their campaign, what they stand for, and also some people don't just vote for a party because of what they stand for. They stand with a party because of what they go against.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are against us. And so they're gonna go along with any party that's against giving black people any kind of benefits or equal rights.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the last question, you go on to the next person with that one.
Okay, got you. Let's keep this thing going. Let's go to Tucson. Tucson, good morning. How you doing this morning? Tucson, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Mm-hmm. Tucson, what is the best or the worst? What is the best or the worst thing that history has taught you?
Can't fix stupid.
Mm.
You can educate stupid, but you can't fix it. You can research and you still be stupid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, bro.
I'm here breathing dragons. I told you.
Mm-hmm.
But I listen. A person with a mouth open can't hear nothing. Talking. We like to hear. Life has taught me so much. People love themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They love to hear themselves talk and make themselves seem wise. So they do stuff to make them seem wiser than somebody else. And they still don't know how to shut their mouth and listen. Do you know what I find the most ignorant folks?
What's that?
Learning, and never come to the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Just ever learning, just trying to absorb so much information, and they hadn't even got the information. They already achieved. Just simple stuff. I'm just saying. I mean, because we got them all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean any harm by what I'm saying, but I listen and I pay close attention. We eliminate people because of their status in life. So we just wipe them out. Sometimes we don't even pay attention to what we say. Even what we're saying, and I don't mean no harm. Let me bring a point out, and it's not directed, it's just what I hear, and I listen. I got about 30 more seconds left. We have eliminated so many people to have a possible vote just because they don't do a certain thing. Now you got 50% of voters, maybe, perhaps 30% of voters that voted. Now they are not all of a sudden qualified to vote because they don't do a certain thing.
Wow. Toya with a T. Talk to me, sis. What's on your heart? Toya, you there? Toya may have stepped away for a second. Curtis, talk to me, brother.
You know, man, hey, Donald just took it, man. He just took it all the way to the house. Like, if you're not willing to see, okay, here's how I think about the whole legislative body. I don't care what party you're from, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not willing to see that these people are willing to demoralize your rights for their thirst of power, if you're not willing to see how their thirst of power is not to provide you, is the real thirst of power is to decrease your right to freedom. Because if you are truly free, then how much power do I have over you? So if you're not willing to see, regardless of what party you operate from, if you're not willing to see where your party is moving to diminish your right, and if you're stuck in a specific thing where it's like, oh, well, they trying to take my right to bear my arms. Well, what about the right they taking from women? What about the rights that if you're not willing to see that, if you're saying I'm willing to give up one right, I don't know what I'm trying to say. If your ideology is all about freedom, then freedom should be across the board. It shouldn't be specifically targeted towards a specific thing. Right? Freedom of speech. Okay, everybody got the freedom of speech, but that don't mean you got the right to go in a movie theater and scream fire, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Without understanding that if I go in this movie theater and I scream fire and all of these people get up and start running and they trample over 50 people and out of the 50 people, 40 of them die, there's a consequence that come with that. I should be charged in neglectful homicide. You know what I mean? Like, I learned something the other day that blew my mind, really. Do you know that within our governing body, that there is written into the legislation willful neglect,
Mm-hmm.
and or what we would call in the military, we call it a dereliction of duty. All right? If these people, whomever it is, are willfully neglecting you, knowing that they work for you, we don't work for them, then I feel like they should be fired.
Mm-hmm.
And to answer your question, Raheem, you asked a question earlier, something to the effect of, like, how do you determine who gets your vote?
Mm-hmm.
Or how do you determine what party you represent? And here's my answer. I represent the party that has at least made an attempt to try and represent me. Because growing up in my hood, I ain't never seen a Republican come in my hood. I ain't never seen a Libertarian come in my hood. I ain't never seen a Green Party member come in my hood and actually set me down and say, okay, look, this is what I represent. This is how I represent it. Bah, 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 bah. I ain't never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, I have been the supervisor of a campaign where I knew I was in neighborhoods that, okay, this neighborhood, a red neighborhood, I really shouldn't be here. But you know what? My candidate said, no, we are going after every vote. Everybody needs to know what I do, what I represent. I respected that, brother.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. We got a lot of things going on right now. Toya with a T, are you back with us? Toya with a T, are you back with us? Captain, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart? History.
Well, I'm sorry. I was under the impression that when you asked a certain question, I tried my best to stick with the question.
Yes.
I didn't know that the question should be tied back into the political question that we started earlier. I thought we had transformed
Yes.
from the political question into a question that has not a political condemnation attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so forgive me that I misunderstood you, brother. Again,
No,
I don't know politics to speak into it. I can't keep going back.
The question wasn't tied into the part. It was an open question. It wasn't tied back into the last topic. So you're absolutely right.
Oh, okay, because I just hear everybody keep going back to the political question. This is the political student.
Oh, that was my fault because I had to step away from the phone. So when I came back, I just assumed that we were still there.
Oh, okay. I just heard somebody even before you. My attitude is, and then keeping it 100 is, this is a very politically astute crew, you know, and I really respect y'all's political science and your political persuasion. I really do. I wish I could really lend more into that, but I just didn't come up on that side of the fence. And I mean, it could be a plus or it could be a minus to me. But I do try to deal with, like Professor Leonard, practicality things. What I do admire about my dear brother is he tried to just keep it practical. And even things that may go to the left, he be calm and he don't, but then, you know, that's just the way it is. I also believe that as we're looking at the climate of America in particular, the Black community in general, I think that current events is what you constantly bring before us, Brother Raheem, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
I had just got off the phone for a couple of hours to deal with the mass shooting in Harlem. 9 people were shot. 1 person was killed over the weekend holiday. And I have to address that. In Harlem, I'm from New York. I love Harlem. This mass shooting now there's another one. And so, to me, these are real concerns. I mean, I'm like, wow, another mass shooting? And we ain't talking about that. Well, maybe because it's irrelevant to some people. Maybe that some people don't know about it. I like to try to always address the things that I may have an influence in changing. And sometimes, family, I mean, it ain't got nothing to do with politics. It got to do with some, what is it politically correct? Cool. But some things has to deal with just human nature, getting out there and just understanding there's a climate of violence that seems to be all the way from the top to the bottom. And I just like to talk about those kind of things because that's my forte. Now, I'm not taking away from nobody who's not concerned about that. But man, I'm be honest with you, man. I mean, I'm going into New York Thursday, man. And there's a big meeting, not a rally, a big meeting with some of the powerful organizations to not only address the shootings that's in Harlem, but in the Bronx and in Philadelphia and Baltimore and Chicago and it's just everywhere, Detroit. So these are the things that matters to me, and some people, it may not, but I thank you for giving me an opportunity to voice my opinion.
Yes, sir.
At no detriment of nobody else's opinion. I think everybody on here brings such valuable information that I'm impressed by. The level of their political intelligence, man, I'm really impressed. I kind of feel ashamed, to be honest with you, Brother Raheem, that I'm not that much politically astute. I take great pride on being Captain D, but y'all intimidate the hell out of me when it comes to politics. Y'all want to shut Captain D up, talk politics, and I got to go on my share. Oh, we got him now. Oh, we found out there's something he ain't involved with. Well, you have found my weakest link. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me go to Hicks. Brother Hicks, are you still with us?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Boy, I'm glad you called. I wanted to clarify a thing when I
let me hold on. Let me ask you the question first, and I'll let you clarify. Then you answer the question. But what is the best or worst thing that history has taught you? Now you want to clarify something. Go ahead, clarify, brother.
Yeah. Well, when I mentioned the thing about asking a person what is a woman or what is a man, to me that's a litmus test, rather to indicate whether you are possessed by ideology and which is against the natural order of things. I think the point is that it seems that there's a push toward a confusion of who we are as even male and female, toxic masculinity, and all the whole different things about that. So for me, when I mentioned that the question was asked, that question was a litmus test. It was asked because she couldn't answer. She couldn't answer because her mind was locked by her party, locked by ideology.
I don't
about who we are.
With all due respect, brother. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know, because in the platform that she
I don't agree with that either, Raheem. You absolutely right.
Because my thing. Hold on,
I
sir.
agree with it.
Hold on. Everybody, hold on.
Sir.
My thing is this right here. On the platform that they was on, and to even throw a question out there like that. And some people say complicated, but as simplistic as that question is, man, why would you trying to get somebody that's going for a very dominant position in society, and you ask her a question, what is a woman? I mean, next you can ask her what is a snail? What is a bird?
No.
What difference does that make? That has nothing to do with the position that she's going, whether she know what a woman is or not, or a bird or whatever. That I don't see where that makes sense.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, sir.
What I said, I think I pointed Clinton. I understand the majority of folks won't agree with it. That's the tide of I've seen in my life, the shift from natural to whatever. It was a litmus test. When a person can't answer that question, it's going to that position of power that influence policies that go. For instance, like I think it was Charles that mentioned about policies. The policies that been produced out of that party is in policies about how to redefine a woman. Don't call them woman, call them breathing people. All I'm saying is this, for me, and it's personal. That is a litmus test for me. If you can't tell me, you can't answer that question this day and time, you show me what side you're on. Period. And I understand
because you can't answer what is a woman. You're determining what side you're on.
What is? Can you tell me what a woman is?
Sir, I would not even I would not even really dignify a question like that. What is a woman? No, my
that's why we know what side you're on.
Well, my thing is right here. And Charles, you're not gonna do that, brother. You're not gonna do that. Stop that. But my thing is this right here. What if I'm running for a position like that? And how belittling is that on her intellect for you even ask her a question? What is a woman? How belittling is that to even ask a question like that? It's like asking a black person what is the N word? I'm not gonna go. It's like asking a black person I'm not gonna dignify that with no response. What is the N word? Hold on. I don't hold on. Let me pull some more. Hold on, sir. Let me pull some more. Yes. Hold on, Curtis. Hold on, Curtis. We just came to you. Let me pull some more people into the conversation. Let me be fair with the time. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Rico, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here. I pretty much made that. To me, to even introduce or entertain that energy is introduction to the confusion.
Exactly.
I mean, I wouldn't even entertain that because it's a dumb question. If we don't know what a woman is, how the hell are you born?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me what a woman is?
Hold on. Did you come out of man's butt? I mean, we know what a woman is. A woman gives birth.
Hold on, Hicks.
That's right.
Hold on, Hicks. I agree.
Hicks.
So, I mean, just the fact that they use that as a tool and a tactic to cause more confusion and controversy, but really, truly, it shouldn't even be an issue. We keep talking about being out of order, but at the same time, we entertain the people that create the disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So now we go out of thousands of years of existence. Now we don't know what a woman is. Well, I guess my mama, man.
Hold on, Hicks, brother Hicks. Brother Hicks. We don't talk over each other, brother. Hold on. All due respect, brother. We don't do that. Let him speak, and if I need to come back to you, I will. But give him the respect of having his time to talk.
I apologize. Go ahead.
And it ain't personal. I mean, it's just in general. I mean, this ain't targeted towards Charles. This is targeted towards. This is against who? Are Ted Cruz that asked that stupid question? He played a political game. You know, so sort of going back to what Muhammad said earlier about the question. Historically, guess what I done seen? That people are jump from party to party and say whatever they need to say to get in that political seat, and then go and play games like that. So it is sort of pertain. Even though we went back, that history has shown us what this political system will do, how inconsistent it is, how much of a double standard it is, and how people that do the voting will vote against their own best interest sometimes. It has shown us how dysfunctional it is, but just the question itself, to entertain. Sometimes we got to be true, and we got to understand that if you give something energy, it only keeps growing. But if you give things energy that don't deserve it, that's a waste of everybody's time. That question, what is a woman, that only opens the door for it to be more discussion about something that we shouldn't be discussing.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't come out my daddy butt. I didn't come out as, man, come on. I was delivered between a woman's legs, out of her belly. I didn't come, I mean, there's no confusion about that. You show me a man that delivered a baby, then we can ask that question.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it's an issue that they created, and then we go along with it. So yeah, that's right. If she couldn't answer the question, that's one thing, but the fool that asked it should be looked at sideways. Mm-hmm. Just for even bringing that energy to the table, because it shouldn't be, it shouldn't exist. So he entertained it. Maybe it was, a tactic or whatever, but it doesn't belong. That shouldn't even be in our atmosphere. But I ain't gonna hold up too much time, man. It's still too many other people on there.
Mm-hmm. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
I was just listening, and everybody, like I said, we were talking about strategy earlier. The simple are drawn to the simple. Cruz is simple.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, she ain't like she couldn't answer it or whatever. We know the context of the question. We know the intent behind the question. We know that the motive and the agenda of the individual asking the question. We knew the position of the individual that he was asking the question to. Those people who did not like her answer are more than likely opposed to the LGBTQ community.
Yes.
That's that. I mean, I don't see it no further than that. I completely understand Brother Hicks. He is probably one of the individuals that is against the LGBT community and their movement and forward. This issue may come up as in that particular job that she has been elected for, chosen for. Now, whether or not how she answers, not because she couldn't answer it, she refused to answer it. That's different. A woman, you know, if I can imagine if I was there, I would have said a woman is whatever she wants to be. Your mama had you because she was a female, not because she was a woman, because she was a female. That's how your daddy make you, because you was a male. I like to use those terms because you can't break them down any further. You understand what I'm saying? You can talk about the characteristics of a woman. I don't care. You can dress up. You can look exactly like a woman, but you could be just a man in a dress. So I understand the game. I understand the game. You have to realize the question is part of a game. If I can get simple people to make a simple decision simply because of a motive that I have against the LGBT community, he should have used that, because those are only tools that he has. He's just that simple of a person. He couldn't go into detail about what a woman was. He couldn't, because he's not intelligent enough. There are several women that can sit, because Miss Cassandra is a certain type of woman. Miss Toya is a different type of woman. So woman is very subjective in our culture. Female and male is not. So we have to take into consideration people's motives. And I think what people used to say back then, I ain't gonna even dignify that with an answer. You know how you had those arguments?
Exactly.
That's more of what it was. I'm not gonna dignify you with an answer. You don't deserve this pearl. You understand? That's it.
Good deal. Good deal. Toy, you want to take you back with us, sis?
I am back. What's up?
What's on your heart? We transition again to another topic, talking about the question that was asked. What is a woman? How did you feel about that particular question that was asked by the young lady that's going for the court?
If you said the question was, what is a woman?
Yes, you know, when she was going for the justice, Supreme Court justice, and they asked her that question, what is a woman? How would you dignify? Would you even dignify that question at all?
I'm a woman. I am a woman. I'm a female. That's a queen. That is the opposite of a man. I'm the definition of everything that the man is not. Whatever you're not, I am. You're strong. I might be a little bit weaker, but I have strength in other areas. If you're smart, I'm right behind you with that smartness. If you're tired, I'm right there to help you feel better. I mean, I don't understand. What is man? Like, I don't understand what's the animal? What are we talking about here? What is a woman? I'm a woman. We're delicate. We're gentle. Like I said, we're everything a man is not. I mean, that's kind of a confusing question. That's like, what's a Tyrannosaurus Rex? We ain't never seen one of those, so I can see how you can ask that. But a woman ain't but nothing but women and males here. What do you mean? What is woman? I mean, that's kind of a like, where are we going? What answer are you looking for? I am straight. You know what I'm saying? I am a goddess. You know, if you really want to get gangster, I'm a god. What is the answer? You know, a woman is everything. Literally.
Wow.
Can't have one without the other. Literally. There's no man without woman, and there's no woman without man.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Let let me see, I'm trying to see, who am I gonna go with? Let me go to Tucson. I ain't talked to Tucson in a minute. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
Right. Go to somebody.
I guess that's his answer.
Look, man,
I know, right? Exactly.
we be trying to, this is me. What we try to do is try to unwrite order. There's a certain order that you obviously, it's almost obvious. And there are some people all throughout history has tried to uproot order. So I say this a lot, and I've learned to say, I don't know where this comes from, but it comes to mind that when you can't agree with a person and you stick with your agenda, what the next thing is to do is try to discredit.
Yes.
So you bring up a narrative that don't make no sense, that disrupts order to cause confusion.
Come on.
And that's what we have done, and our political arena is full of it. Our leadership is full of it, all across the board, from religion to politics to our schools. It has even crept into our homes. We don't like order. We're dysfunctional. We need to be in order. There is everybody, I think, everybody that has any little sense, you don't have to have a lot of sense. You can almost be a fool. But a fool, there is something that can direct a fool that will cause them to understand clearly. You can help a fool with the truth. And the truth has order. Anything else is the society we live in. Mass confusion.
Wow. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Like, when I heard that question being asked, I kind of got upset about it at first too. Then I stepped back and looked, observed. You know, just like me making an ignorant statement earlier, saying if you can't do research, don't vote. That was out of place. It's me observing people putting personal beliefs, people focused on a party and different things like that, and having lots and lots of conversations of why they vote or why they think the way that they do. And one of the answers I hear the most often is, well, that's the way everyone else is voting. That's the way everyone else thinks. Why shouldn't I? You know, and I guess for me, looking on the outside in, that's not logical. That's a follower mentality. And because when I do research, I just don't pay attention to the news. I get on the Congress website. I look at the bills that are being written. And when I don't understand something, I reach out to somebody that can explain it to me. So it's just, to me, woman, man, black, white, Chinese, Native American, they're all labels. And a label can be given to anything. But what's the core? So it's, I guess in some ways I'm simple-minded on certain things, because when it comes to the LGBT stuff, what I see are people that some of them need help. Some of them are perfectly happy being who they are. They're not bad, evil human beings aside from people's personal belief. And I don't believe that you should be forcing a kid to decide at the age of 6 or 7 or 8. Let them be kids.
Yeah.
Let them grow up, teach them the best that you can, and don't try to sway them one way or another. If they ask a question, be honest, but don't push anything.
Mm-hmm.
Teach them to be an upstanding human being. That'll solve a lot of issues.
Yes, sir.
So when you have people that are confused to the point of they don't know which way to turn, and they're trying to work, they're trying to take care of their family, and not everyone is intelligent to go to college or make that $20-$30 an hour job.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are stuck making minimum wage. What are they supposed to do in this current economy? So there's so many factors that are involved in some of the questions that you're asking. To answer some of them in a simplistic manner or just a straightforward manner is difficult.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's one of the reasons why I say all the time, and I ask the question in this way: what's on your heart? Because everybody have their own opinions. You got some individuals that come on, they want to argue about this, argue about that. That's not what we're here for. We're here to have an open and honest discussion. What is your opinion? What's on your heart? And don't put anybody down because they don't agree with you. You have your opinion just like everybody else have theirs. And I think, Badger, I think you know where I'm going with this, but we're going to step away from that for a second. Captain, talk to me. That question, what is a woman? She's going for the Supreme Court justice, and they ask her a question, what is a woman? Was that out of place? Was that out of order? Or were they justified in doing so?
Well, to be honest, my dear brother, I don't know I didn't hear it. I don't know the context in which it was presented. I don't even know who it was presented to, who asked the question. So I don't want to speak into that I don't have no knowledge on. So
yes, sir.
If you don't mind, I would like to bow out on that answer.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that. Thank you. Willa.
Sorry, Raheem.
Willa.
Hey, Raheem.
Good morning. Hi, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Man, folks missed you yesterday, Willa.
I was so knocked out yesterday. I got home from Tennessee about 1 o'clock in the morning. I did all the driving. I drove 9 hours straight. I was just beat.
Yeah. I know.
I apologize to everybody.
No. You needed that rest. So we understand. The question was asked of that jury, young lady that's going for the Supreme Court justice. Ask her the question, Willa, and I want to hear your heart on it. Ask her, what is a woman? What is a woman? Was that an appropriate question? Was it out of order, or was it justified? What do you say to that question?
Well, and it was asked in a public forum.
Yes,
I believe there was no validity to that question, other than someone's motive to, and I don't even know the person that they asked. But to me, when someone's running for an office, there's always a political agenda. To discharacterize the individual on some kind of way. That wasn't a trick question. It was really a stupid question to me, because everybody knows what a female, like Leonard said. I was listening to everybody. Everybody made a great opinion, should I say. And they put it in perspective, because right now there's a lot of that going on, a lot of characteristic battles, so you could tell, who's trying to win the race. But that was definitely not a question that should have been even gave any time to. I should say, someone gave the right word earlier, but I wouldn't even nourish the thought.
Yeah,
I would just rooted it in next question.
Would not even dignify
because I
that.
knew that was a question that shouldn't have been even asked.
Wouldn't even dignify that with a response.
Yeah, you can't. Come on now. Now give me something intelligent. I mean, I don't know what. Like you said, I think you said she was running for a judge or something like that. Ask me a question that pertains to what I'm running for, because you want to get an answer saying, yeah, I think I might try this individual because of their answer on something on what they're, running for as a judge or president or whatever it is. So, we smart people.
Yeah.
We're not stupid.
Exactly. Exactly.
We know what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they shouldn't even entertain that.
Absolutely.
But you know how the media is and
Mm-hmm.
how news is. So
Exactly.
yeah, but I'm glad to be back, everybody. I miss your voice.
Hey, good to have you back, sis. Definitely good to have you back. Leonard, you was about to say something, brother.
Oh, I think I lost my train of thought, but to that question, like Mr. Willer just said, that's the thing you should be aware of. The motive. You should, and I don't like Badger would say everyone doesn't have it,
Mm-hmm.
but you should have a sense of someone trying to take advantage of you.
Mm-hmm.
You should have a sense of someone who's playing you for ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
You know how like you hear somebody say something, then when you think about it, like, were they insulting me? Or did they mean it as an insult?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the types of things that you should be aware of, especially dealing with politicians and this type of thing. You can't give one answer for everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's why some people run for office, and if I notice they telling the same story over and over, particularly, I don't really care if your parents were sharecroppers.
Yeah.
I really don't care. I don't care if you was poor when you grew up and all that type of stuff. What are you going to do with this position that you want? That's what I want to know. What do you want to do? What is your intention? Sitting with leaders are more interested in what are we going to do as opposed to how we feel about what somebody says.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a right to say what you want. But people should know when they're being set up.
Mm-hmm.
She knew it was a setup.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to know that. That's why somebody shouldn't be able to call you and tell you anything and then you sending them money. You know how they folks get tricked online?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, it's the gullibility of some people that people play on. They play on that. Anyone that could trick you into voting for them because of one sentence, you don't want that person representing you.
Mm-hmm.
So those people that are playing these tricks should let you know they're not worthy of your support.
Yeah.
Because they tricksters.
Mm-hmm.
Devils do that. And those people that play those types of games, you need to look at them just like that because that's just who they are.
Mm-hmm.
We learned a lot from that question. If you did not know Ted Cruz before, I bet you was wondering to yourself, what kind of idiot is this?
Mm-hmm.
Then go listen to the other stuff he said. You go, okay, oh, I know what kind of idiot that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you lived any amount of time,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's beyond me to dictate to people what they believe or whatever. They have that right, man. I'm about choice.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong or right, as long as you chose it. Long as you chose it, I'm good. If you want to be against what I say and all that, that's cool with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really that type of person, but I'm going to fight for my side. My nephew, he put something up there earlier. Shout out and blessings to all of the family members that are doing well. Despite everything that's going on, you're still looking for progress, and just bless you all. That's what I say. If you say something good and put positive out there, that's how we beat the bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the good people have to fight.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sit back and not do that.
Yeah.
You got to support righteousness and
Mm-hmm.
goodness and positivity, even if it don't meet everything you want. Where's the majority of it? Where's the
Mm-hmm.
majority of it? There are some
Exactly.
people I wouldn't want to have dinner with, but I don't mind talking with them on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people I don't want in my house, but I would love to meet them somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's I like what Donald kind of hits on a lot is there's a time and a place for everything. We ain't all gonna get along. We can live around one another, but there are some people that just choose to be over here and some people that choose to be over there.
Exactly. Let me go to Hicks. Hicks, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Wow. I want to say one thing. I'm not homophobic against the LBG. I'm not against things. I'm for things.
Mm-hmm.
And but I'm outnumbered here. It's been a good experience for me, but I'm outnumbered. But
Well,
that's how it's been most of my life.
Well, it's not. I don't think so. It's a thing about being outnumbered. Everybody got their
Welcome to
own
my world.
perspective. Everybody have their
No,
own
no.
perspective, and everybody have their own view as to how they view different things.
Wow.
Maybe your view on this particular topic does not line up with a lot of people on here, but I'm sure in
Well,
other instances it may.
That's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I just I appreciate you. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate the experience, but I'll listen in every now and then. But I'm
Hey,
out.
no, Hicks, don't leave. Stay here with me, bro. Because I'm the only one that think like you.
That's what you got to know when to leave. You got to know when to fold and unfold them.
Mm-hmm.
Peace. So
I won't let them make me fold. I'm gonna fight back. I'm gonna fight the demons back every chance I can.
Okay,
Hey,
Sean.
let me say something right here, Raheem.
Yeah.
Because I was glad you went back to Hicks. I wish you would have went right back to him after that was said about him not liking LGBTQ, because I pretty much had an idea that wasn't his point of view.
No, well, Rico, what happened? Rico, let me say this to you, Rico. Reason why I didn't go back. Let me explain why I didn't go. He had stepped away for a second. He just came back, and as soon as he came back, I went back to him. Yeah, he had stepped away.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad he cleared that up though, because I knew that was a wrong statement. That was an assumption that shouldn't have been put out there, and it's good that he cleared that up. But I think what Hicks was trying to do was trying to let us know if, well, he was trying to let us know why they were doing it and that he understood why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't saying that he agreed with it. That's the reason why I know he's not against no LGBTQ or nothing like that. You know, and it's not that anybody's against them. We're against what Ted Cruz tried to do, because like Leonard just said, I mean, man, it's funny. I was thinking it, and he said it immediately after I thought it. There's a time and a place for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the congressional hearings or hearings to approve Supreme Court justice nominations, there's no time for trick questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are some questions this is what they did. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask her what a woman is. Well, whether she says this or that. Well, whatever she says, I'm going to eat her alive. Whatever she would have said, they was going to jump on her. They were going to go down her throat with it.
Yep.
So she knew it was a trick question. It was a trap. And it was not the time and place for somebody to be playing these political games with trick questions just to get some points, wasting our time watching somebody ask a dumb question like that. So, we do understand the purpose behind it, that nobody was against Hicks. We understand what the purpose was behind it. But the thing is it does not belong at that place and time. So, Willa, that was me. I was the one who said that. That didn't deserve any energy or entertainment. It shouldn't have been entertained. It shouldn't have even been introduced. And see, this is the thing, what goes on. The only reason it exists is because somebody put the energy in the air for it to exist. They introduced it and made it a conversation, because now we're still talking about whether or not the question is fitting. A question that should never have been asked. There should be no confusion about that question. I'm trying to even imagine how that even became a question. But somehow somebody introduced that confusion. So Donald, once again, ain't nobody got to co-sign me. I hear it. Donald said what I said. They keep on taking us out of order. The people that cause disorder and say that they want order, they continue to put us out of order by distracting us with trick questions and things that don't belong in a situation or at this certain time. So I mean, Hicks needs to keep calling in, man. It ain't nothing about nobody outnumbering nobody. Because if anybody know anything, I got Hicks back. I got Muhammad. I got anybody back that's on here speaking right. You ain't got to have mine. But you know what I'm saying. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's a misunderstanding, it's a misunderstanding. But sometimes we the way we speak, we probably will sound like we're going against each other, when really and truly we're just going against that point of view that you may understand that another person had.
Exactly.
You might be going against Ted Cruz. You might not be going against the people that saying they understood what Ted Cruz was doing. I know I'm not going against anybody on here. I just don't agree with the fact that that woman was held to a high standard and looked down upon, but he just walked away with his hands free and said, hey, y'all, look at the trouble I got started with that trick question.
Exactly.
Hey,
Exactly.
Raheem.
Yes, sir.
And also, I wanted to add, I used to read about Reagan a lot, right? Ronald Reagan. And one thing about Reagan is, as a politician, he loved a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
But once the majority beat him, he was on board as the leader
Mm-hmm.
because they had fought a good fight and they had won. And so, regardless of whether or not what side he started on, he was always about what saith the people,
Yeah.
what saith these representatives. You know, he had some vetoes, a few vetoes. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it was always after a vigorous fight in Congress about something or a position. And I think that's what people, especially African American community, we take things way too personal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it impedes us from moving forward. Like something simple. If you ask Nina Simone and Maya Angelou that question, you'd be sitting there all day.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be sitting there all day. Imagine asking Maya Angelou or
Mm-hmm.
Nina Simone, what is a woman? They're going to come at you from a completely different area of expertise because of who they are and how they feel about the subject matter. So it was, Brother Hicks had a great point. I mean, it's his point of view. Whether he changes his point of view or not is up to him. But it still deserves, he has a right to speak that, And we add what we have to that. And so it's not, personal. There might be some fights he's going to win. He may bring up something completely that we did not know. So that's the value of his opinion. Without whether or not we trying to win like Charles. Charles ain't gonna never win. Charles ain't gonna never win a political debate here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean he don't have great. Charles is excellent to me when he don't talk about politics. But that don't mean I dislike the brother for any reason. But like you say, no man, stay on here and help me.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring it on. You know what I'm saying? It's lively. It sharpens the sword.
Exactly, exactly. Let me go to Toya with a T. Toya, what's on your heart, sis? Talk to me. Toya, you there?
Raheem.
Yes.
Raheem.
Yes.
Rico gave the number one answer to the whole question. It was a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what, Raheem? That happens a lot in our lives. When we are really trying to get the truth of something, whatever it is, in our lives, someone always got to put a distraction there to take the focus out of the realization of what the real root cause is. That was a great answer. It was a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And look, just like Leonard said, we're talking about the distraction instead of talking about the realization of what should have been said. I love that answer. Great answer, Rico. It was a distraction. And we can use that in our lives when we trying to fix, I don't know, whatever it is, but stop. Allowing somebody to distract you off the realization of whatever it is and fix whatever the problem might be. I love that word.
Good.
A distraction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Curtis, talk to me, brother.
Well, Raheem, there has been so much put out and everybody's been so on point. I just feel the need to clear some things up. First and foremost, a lot of folks in today's world do not really understand the flow of government. Because first and foremost, judges are not judges to persuade and or set policy. The judicial department of government is specifically designed to interpret the law for which the legislators has issued out. That's one. Two, the whole question within itself was what they call in debate circles, it's called a red herring question. The question is asked. The brother was right when he said it was a got you question. That's all it was a got you question. it was to insinuate that this particular judge would vote one way or the other in reference. It was to insinuate that she would vote her party affiliation over the interpretation of the law.
Mm-hmm.
It was a question that did not even deserve an answer and should not have been asked and should have been gavelled when it was asked.
Mm-hmm.
Thirdly, I'm not sure if it was Ted Cruz. Now, I'm not a supporter of Ted Cruz because I thought that it was Josh Hawley who asked that question. One of the young up-and-coming stars of that party who asked that question. Because although I think Ted Cruz is a moron, I think Ted Cruz has enough sense to know you do not ask a question like that given the situation and circumstances. But the whole premise of the question was to demoralize that woman, not only as a woman, but as a judge, not only as a judge, but as judge.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The red herring question is a tactic basically used, Raheem, so that once you answer the question, there's already an opposition to your answer established.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's really a bait. It's like I don't know, shoots and ladders. It's hook and bait.
Yeah.
I throw this bait out there, you bite at it. I already got my return question. Lastly, I'll say this. Given the situation and the circumstances, and I don't mind saying it, I have a dog in this fight. My son is LGBTQ.
Mm-hmm.
So I specifically have a dog in this fight. And I don't know if we paying it any attention. But 27 states have passed a total of 894 laws against the LGBTQ community. So are we right now willing to say that the LGBT community are not human beings? Because if that's what we're willing to say, then I will be the first to tell you, then guess what? If something happens to my son that is malicious and maladaptive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I choose to take up arms and turn into, that's why I chose you, Jake, because you wanted him. Am I wrong? Because at the end of the day, my son is a human being. First,
mm-hmm.
I seen a debate where we have to understand at this point there is a shift on even the topic, because right now what you have is, okay, woman and man. You have a biological facts, what a woman is, what a man is. But then you have to at least take a look, or at least allow yourself to understand the social science that says we all have a right to choose what we are or what we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big discussion. That's why the what is it called? A fighter, the Swimmers Association, they're going through some issues right now with the trans dudes swimming with females.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Olympics is going through some things right now. Because the battle right now is, are we going to stand on a biological science of what a man and a woman is, or are we going to stand on the social science of what a man or a woman is?
Good deal.
But at the end of the day, I have a dog in the fight.
Good deal.
And if somebody brings something to my son and hurt my son,
mm-hmm.
I feel for him because I'm gonna reach out and touch something.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Good. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Bishop.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I'm gonna have to take the phone off mute, my brother.
There you go. There you go. Bishop, because you've been in politics as well, and you know how that arena works. The question, what is a woman? What type question was that, man? Was that appropriate? Was that inappropriate, or was it malicious? What was it?
It can be taken in a malicious manner, trying to ask the questions of that nature, trying to stir up something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was listening to Kirk, and Kirk was talking about the biological or the scientific adaptation of being a woman. Biologically, a woman was born a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Scientifically, a man removes his penis to become a woman. Does that make him a woman because he removed his penis? And when he was born John, then that's how he was. He was born John.
Mm-hmm.
We're not at the point of trying to disrespect the person's right. The question itself that was asked was a very generic, a very honest question. It's how people receive the question that's asked to try to take it and make it more than what it is. I had this conversation yesterday, and it's so crazy that I'm calling in today on your show to talk about the same conversation I had yesterday. And someone asked me, if a man is born a woman, if a man is born a man, can he call himself a woman? I said, he can call himself whatever he want to call himself. I'm not here to discriminate on anybody and their preference as it relates. Now, if you want to get in a biblical text of it, then it becomes a different story.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to just keep it right here, or how far do you want to take it? I can take it wherever you want it to go.
Hey.
After I get through,
Mm-hmm.
you still going to be my friend.
And that was the conversation y'all had.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Well, conversation, I just keep it real.
There you go.
If I tell you the truth, you're going to still be my friend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Charles, what's on your heart, brother? Charles, you there? Charles having some difficulty over there. You can't hear me? You're not muted, brother. You're not muted. Can you hear me? Okay. Badger, talk to me. Charles having some difficulty with his line over there.
No, I was weighing like what's being said and things, and I like what Bishop said. He goes, I was sitting here thinking, just to throw a different aspect into it.
Okay.
One of the times when we're first couple of months on the show, right? And I made the comment, I'm autistic.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a couple people that said, don't use that as an excuse and so on, right?
Yes.
And living with this every day.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain areas where if you say that you're looked at as a detriment to society. In certain areas, you're accepted. So there's a lot of bias with the label of autism. So to me, that's how I view things, is how is the individual looking at that terminology? Yet I also agree with Leonard. You can't argue what a female and a male is when it comes to body parts. You can cut it off and all that kind of stuff. And I really hope a man doesn't, get ovaries put in them and things like that. That'd be weird as hell.
Hey,
sorry. That's going too far, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's getting up there with like playing God. That I'm not for. Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
And so a person calling themselves something is them. That's their belief, be it due to a psychological reason, be it because of a trauma situation. That's like being Republican and Democrat. There are Democrats that will talk smack about Republicans and so on, and a Republican will talk smack about a Democrat and a socialist and everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, what I see looking from the outside is personal beliefs and going along with what the people in power say. So when I heard Blackburn ask that judge that, my initial response is what most people's response was. And I went, wait a minute, I'm being a follower right now. what is the hidden motive behind asking a question like that? Because legally, because of the way laws have been put into place, she answered it based on being a judge.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would depend on the case that is presented to her. But then if you add religion into it, or a personal belief, or whatever a person wants to be in, is going to alter the way that their expectation of how that question should have been answered. But looking at it in a legal manner, based on the laws of today, she answered it the best way she could, because it is case dependent.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Let's keep this thing going, man. Who we got? I think we got another caller just called in. No, Tucson. Talk to me, brother.
Is that woman judge or something? Is she?
Lord,
you know what? This
she's still on trial.
He in the corner.
No,
Send him to the corner.
He need to go to the corner right now. As a matter of fact, I think he backstepping his way to the corner right now as he's talking. He's backstepping to the corner.
We done went 3 months back into a conversation that don't really matter. I'm just asking. I'm sorry. Look, let me say what I want to say. Please, just give me a minute. Look, never get into a conversation where you think everybody's gonna agree with you, or you're gonna get your feeling hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't agree. That's why we're in this conversation. I love this setting because we got people come from different places, have different backgrounds, have different thoughts about different things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it unique. But at the same time, all of us know right from wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we all do, I think. Now, some people choose the right and some people choose the wrong. And what we do is we let people kind of sway us from reality based on good talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do it all the time. Mm-hmm. So, man, I'm just glad to be a part of such brilliant people.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I'm just saying, y'all tickle me sometimes though.
Excuse me, Raheem.
I say y'all. That includes me too.
That includes
because
so you tickle yourself.
I don't get upset. I'm not gonna get offended because you know what? Sometimes I think I'm right, and you know what I find out? That I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's wrong. Been wrong for years.
Lord Jesus.
Talk about step on the crack, home and break a back. That ain't true.
What? Wait, hold on. We're gonna stop right there.
Wait, what did he say?
Come on, step on a crack and break your mama back. Oh Lord Jesus. Let me see.
Raheem.
Leonard, I have no idea, brother. Leonard.
No, I got another question, but I'm just laughing at what Toussaint had mentioned. But thank you for correcting me. It was Marsha Blackburn that proposed the question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that senator that proposed
a woman asks
that
another
question.
woman, what is a woman?
Right, and also think about it, like you know how Kurt was talking about. He had a dog in the fight and whatever, and I think that's what people don't realize. You know, it's not natural to, you know, it's not something that everybody has or whatever. You have to learn how to understand that your point of view may not be the best for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you think one way, have you considered how other people think? Like Kurt say, you know, he has a son. We all have family members and things like that, or what have you, that are part of the LGBT community.
Mm-hmm.
So we may be a little different. Last thing is, I have a friend. He's very big on history and Hitler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be careful about people who try, little by little, they try to get you to hate certain people. If they can get you to dislike and hate these people, and they get in power and get in office, they can justify their extermination. Black people should be very aware of that. It may not happen tomorrow. It may be busy. It may not be the same candidate, but bits and pieces that further make it normal to demoralize others. That's how Hitler gained power. Little by little, until he had so many people that hated Jews that they justified their extermination.
And see, and like the old saying goes, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Exactly.
Exactly. Charles, what's on your heart, brother? Toy, you want to see? I heard you back.
Did the subject change?
No, we're still the same thing.
All right, so I think that what Hicks was saying is correct about the litmus test. I work in the lab, so we did litmus tests to find out how certain levels of things work. If you all think that the time was wrong, only in to me, simple-minded people think that the timing was wrong. All right. Not personally hitting at people. Not personally hitting at people because I heard it earlier, so I'm not personally hitting at people. I heard I heard the word simple-minded used earlier, so I'm not hitting at somebody. All right, so I'm just letting you know. Now, the reason why, because everybody don't know how she think, and he was just, or not he, I'm sorry. Actually, Ted Cruz didn't say it first.
Yeah.
All right, so I did post that on there, that Ted Cruz didn't say it first, but the person who said it first was just showing the type of person that she is. Now, what Toya said on here was so magnificent that if this lady would have said that, I'd have jumped out my chair and said, oh, that's what I'm talking about. But she came to say some dumb stuff to me if I'm not a biologist. That's one of the dumbest things to say to that, because that's like if somebody say, well, what is that, a car? Well, I'm not a mechanic. Come on, man. Is it a car or not? Or what is a car? You understand? But what Toya said, if she would say anything like that, or like what Leonard said, like Angela Davis would say, but answer the question, not with this, to me, it just shows you the type person she is, the agenda that she stands for. And as for, so many things y'all done hit before I left and came back. And as for Hicks leaving, this is the reason why people, like if you have a person with a libertarian or Republican mindset, listen to how you all talk and how you all make it try to seem like you're not jumping on them, but it looks like you are. How they react to you all, or how they say, I'm not calling in on this show because the same thing just happened. Prime example of what Hicks. The prime example of the words that were used to Hicks. Words don't bother me, so I hit back. So I'm not worried about that. And that's the only reason why I'm still here. Because words don't bother me and I hit back. If you call me stupid, I call you stupider, even if it's not a word. I go there. I like a fight. Even if it's not a word, I'm gonna use it. You double stupid. That's just what I do. I can spell it like, see, in a bad. If I was smart, if I was being a mean person, and you tell me to spell stupider, I would probably spell your name. And that's just how I come at people. You understand? Because that's what we do. We played the dozens growing up, so that's what we did all day. So, but I get what a lot of people on here saying about the timing. But I'm telling you, that timing was great because it showed people who didn't know who this woman was, who this woman is.
But y'all, let me ask you this. And that question, that question right there, man. And I'm being very serious. I want you to be very serious with your answer. How you answer this question?
Yes, sir.
That question to a woman from another woman, that's the part that throws my cart off the road, because you are a woman and you asking another woman, what is a woman? Do you know who you are?
But they weren't asking for that reason. See, that's why it throws you off like that. She was doing it just like everybody on here said, because just like everybody on here is right why she said it. She said it it was an agenda of hers to show who this woman is.
Okay.
That's the only reason she asked it. Now, what you're asking if the timing is right is the question. Now, we know why she said it. I mean, even if you ask that lady in front of her, she would, if Blackburn said she didn't say it for that reason, she's a liar. We know why she said it. I love that she did say it for that reason. That's what I'm saying. I don't care if the lady is black. I don't care if the lady is white or green. I like the question for the question because it shows who that person is. Now, when you're if anybody ever sat down before and watched these judges get questioned, it's crazy stuff that's asked all the time. It's
Oh yeah.
always crazy stuff.
Absolutely.
This is not the first time.
Yeah.
If this is the
Yeah.
first time you saw that,
Mhm.
then you're behind.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. That's true.
But
That's
they
true.
ask crazy questions all the time, and
They do.
and there's a lot of times you could say, well, it's not the time for that question. But it is, because it shows the person who hasn't paid attention what this person is. Now, just like Rico said, it shows two ways. It shows the person who asking the question who they are, and it shows the person who answering the question who they are. It shows both people.
Charles, you put sugar on your grits.
Man, that's Northern. I'm raised in the South. Put no sugar on my grits. You crazy?
And that was the point of that question. That it's just like that. You know what I mean?
But I answered it. Now you asked me, what is sugar on the grits? Well, what is sugar on the grits? Sugar on the grits is demonic. See, at least I got an answer. I'm not a grit scientist. I don't know what it is.
Oh, see,
sugar on the grits is demonic.
Let me go to Toya, man. I ain't fooling with you, Charles. I'm Toya with a T. What's on your heart, sis?
I'm going to the corner.
Going to the corner. Going. I got the shit over there for you. No cushion. Toya with a T. You're back.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. Being a woman, men always gonna challenge you. They're gonna challenge your strength. You think you're this. Oh, you think you're tough enough. You think you're this enough. You think it's that enough. So for me, I'm used to it. I just thank God that God is my God, and the father I had is the father that I had, because I know who I am. And you can come with any question. That's what they do it for, like what Charles said, because they want to see how you respond. You know, sometimes you so swift and quick on your feet. Now they got to go sideways and be stupid because they're not really living off intelligence, but they just want to know how you really gonna come. And you got to come with honor and grace like a lady's supposed to. So it's very important that we know who we are first and foremost, because people are always gonna go after who we really are, and we need to be sure in that. So when them stupid questions come, you can smack them out of the way. Now I'm gonna tell you what happened on Father's Day, all right? Now me and my boss are at odds, right? You know why most men don't like me? Because I'm mostly more man than most men, and I'm cool with that. So okay, I said, well, happy Father's Day, boss. He said, well, happy Father's Day to you too, boy. I said, hey, I know I'm more man than you. I ain't even gonna be offended. But it still kind of bothered me just a little bit, because I know I'm a woman. I know I'm a very strong woman at that. But I could have gotten offended and took it as if, you sure you a woman? And yeah, I'm absolutely 1,000% sure I am, honey. I know I might be very tomboyish, and I was raised by a man, but I don't want one. I know who I am. And no matter where we at or what arena we in, we need to be sure of who we are. So when someone comes testing us, we can stand there with faith and fortitude and say, yeah, I'm still woman, hear me roar, wow.
Wow. Captain, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, wow. Okay. Let me, I want to ask this question that I was concerned in the chat with Brother Charles. He used the term Muslim kills LGBT. Muslim kill LGBTQ community. I'd like for him to substantiate what he means by that, and why did he throw that in the chat? And I'm a Muslim, and I know we don't kill, and is there some knowledge that he has that I don't have about it? But what was the purpose of putting that in the chat? I just need him to explain that to me.
Charles?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now, mostly the majority. Now, this is a fact. My grandfather was a Muslim, so it's not that I don't know Muslims, all right, and not that I'm picking at anyone. Now, in certain Muslim countries, when Obama spoke out and he said to those presidents, you all need to stop doing these things. Now, he said, stop persecuting, killing gays in your country. Now, at that time when he said that, the president of, I forgot what country it was, hit Obama back and said, you don't tell me what to do in my country. Now, the reason why I was saying is that because when me and Badger was having a conversation about me being mean to people, I'm not being mean if I say a certain word if I dislike. I'm not doing that. Now, I was only using that as an example because other people do things also. You understand? And not attacking anyone because, like I said, my grandfather was a Muslim. Now he started off as the Nation of Islam, then he moved on, you know, to be, I guess, I don't know, Sunni. I don't know what kind of Muslim he was, but he was a Muslim. He was an Imam, as a matter of fact. So that's what those countries do. Now you don't see in this country, you don't see, you do see persecution of the LGBT community, but you don't see them getting thrown off of buildings and stuff like that. And you do see those things in Muslim countries, and that's just what it is. It's not picking on anybody.
No. I just try to figure out why you just threw that out there.
Oh.
And there are Christians who have killed
members
of. All right, so let's balance it out, my brother, because it looks like, you know, it was a little dig, and even though I'm trying to figure how did it fit? No. How did it fit in this conversation? All of a sudden, you throw that in the chat, and now you explain it. But if you didn't explain it, and I'm reading the chat,
you'll take it a certain way.
Of course.
You're right.
You know, I don't kill nobody. Like my man Kurt said, I got a dog in the fight. My son is gay.
Right.
We all got dog in this fight. I don't want,
because we all got family members at all.
One at a time.
There you go. Mm-hmm. We all do. And listen, we just need to pick what letter are they. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's all. What letter is your sign? I mean, is he the L? Is he the G? Is he the B? Is he the T? Is he the Q?
He need to go to the corner now.
Yeah, I think mine's the G. What the G stand for, family? What does the G stand for, Brother Raheem?
Is it gay?
Okay, well, that's the letter my son's. That's the letter my son in. All right. That's the letter my son in. All right. So you know,
I can't read, man.
Captain.
Crazy.
I maybe your first time going over there, but you need to go on in that corner over there. We ain't got no cushion on the chair.
I told you.
You need to go on over there. Look here. I don't know if you ever been over there before, but the day you
no, this is my first time. I'm just saying, dear brother. I mean, we can't. I think again, we've been down this road before several days ago. And of course, my attitude is, you know, we have to be very, very, very careful and very sensitive to the language. We have to be very sensitive. Now, we all got opinions. I think that's what you allow us to do, Brother Ryan. You allow us to voice our opinion. I mean, I love good debate. I'm not one to say to anybody on this line, and maybe somebody think Captain be talking a lot of BS, man. But evidently, those who know me, that I say what I mean and I mean what I say. I mean, that's just the way I have been taught and raised, most certainly in the nation. People are going to challenge you on what you say, so you better know what you're talking about. So for you to throw something out there and you don't know what you're talking about, well, don't get upset when somebody come with actual facts and smack you in your face. So I'm very conscious in what I say. I want to make sure everything I say, I can back it up with some facts. If I don't know what I'm talking about, I ain't got no problem. I don't have that kind of ego to say I don't know. I could tell you in a heartbeat, I really don't know. I'm sorry. Pass the mic to somebody else. I think that allows us to be gracious enough to be mature men and women on this line. And everybody do speak from a emotional, compassionate commitment. And some of us, more than others, are very compassionate about certain subjects and certain topics. And I hear the compassion in Badger. I mean, let me just say this right quick. I think my conversation off this show with Badger and my reading in the chat, you know, Badger, this is my humble opinion of my brother Badger. He hates the words of color. He believes that when you use the word white, he believes when you use the word black. I think he has a problem with using color as a means by which we express our past, present, or future. But at the same time, He's a man who likes to use the word, and I love this because that's maturity, humanity. But we can't dismiss people who have been victimized because of color. We can't dismiss that. We can't act like that don't exist. So when people use color, you got to be patient or empathetic to them and understand color is not what we use. Color is what some white folks have used. Not all, because you won't be, I'm not putting you in that category, but color has been used against us. So be patient and don't get bent out of shape. We will get to where we at, Badger, where we'll begin to eliminate color and do what Martin Luther King said and judge the man not by his color, but by the content of his character. We on our way there. We ain't got there yet, but trust me, we on our way there. Thank you.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Rico. What's on your heart, brother? I hadn't heard nothing from you in a minute. Rico, you there?
You gonna be able to hear me? I'm talking through the car speakers now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, man. You know, that Captain Dennis just brought up about the chat and the comment and how that just got sort of clarified. That's what's needed pretty much in every conversation. And to be honest with you, I think that's where this conversation really got started from the very beginning. Is the fact that sometimes we'll throw things and hold people accountable for some things, and then we'll know that it's going on the other side, and we'll act like it don't exist. And so, you know, Captain Dennis just pretty much exposed it because it happened again. It happened at the beginning, and then it happened right back again with the Muslims. But yeah, there's some Christians that have done some very extreme things, probably just as bad as Muslims, people of Islam, you know. And so, you know, when you look at that, I think that's the thing that got me most passionate about this conversation is the fact that it can come off as trolling. When somebody enters a conversation and they use those tactics to distract and to minimize the impact or discredit one person, but at the same time they're giving somebody else a pass that they support that does the same thing or worse. I think that. And so it is nothing that I have against that person. It's the action.
Yeah.
When I see the action, I'm going to bring it up. And I think what ended up happening is once again, the conversation still ended up going in a different direction because I'm riding along with Donald with this. This did happen a few months ago.
Yeah.
This happened a few months ago. I don't think the issue was mainly about the question. It was just the purpose, the tactic, the strategy that people use when they trolling like that, because that is trolling. When you take the opportunity to say, well, you know what, I'm going to bring up an issue that's going to take away from more important things and have us concentrated on this mess. You're trolling. So it's hard for me to sit back and watch stuff like that, but I want to thank Monique. I wish Monique would have called in, man, and y'all get a chance to know her, man. That woman got a deep story. She got a real good story, life story that goes on with her. But another thing about Monique, I don't know if anybody really got a chance to know her. But man, when I tell you resilient and have willpower, man, she got a story, man. You know, when she's a very powerful person. I just put it to you that way, very positive and powerful. So I'm glad that she corrected us on that Ted Cruz and Marshall Blackburn thing. I love correction because I hate being wrong and I hate putting out wrong information and I hate looking like a fool saying the wrong thing over and over again.
Exactly.
So I'm glad that somebody stepped up. You know, it made me feel like I walk around with a book on my nose and don't nobody tell me that it's sitting right there. If you say something wrong, go ahead and correct me.
Yeah.
Correct me right then.
Exactly. Toya, you want to talk to me, sis? Toya?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely what's necessary, Rico. I mean, that's the point. That's what we have to start doing is holding people accountable. You know, and that's how things get out of control. You know, a girl made a comment to me the other day. She said, you know what? I'm only going to do what you allow me to do. So sometimes you got to stop people. But you know what? I beg to differ. You know better. Why would you do that? Because someone allows you. You don't have self-control. I think oftentimes we don't have self-control. We do things and say things to people with the mindset that until somebody stops me, I'm going to go and say what I want. And oftentimes, most people are non-conflictual with that. They get out of confrontation. No, I'm not gonna say nothing. You know, I'm gonna mind my business and leave it alone. But we can't get better if we don't get checked.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? We can't get better if we don't seek for understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We can't get better if we don't listen and have some empathy when we listen with people, instead of just, you know, having this one trained mind that's either to distract, to deflect and cause attention to yourself, or to just outright be negative.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? And oftentimes, that's why we have adversity. You know what I'm saying? Because when you give in to a person, you say, okay, I'm gonna have it your way, they still want to argue.
Yeah.
You can get that, and they still want to argue. So we have to really be careful that, and knowing who we are in whatever position in life, whether it be political, it's just as important as the boo-boo picker-upper. It's just as important as the person who's a sanitation person. You better know who you are. And when somebody come ask you a question, well, what is trash? You better know who you are. Well, I'm the man that sorts trash from the treasure, honey. And believe it or not, some people's trash may be their treasure, but you can't know that if you don't know who you are. So just be aware of the mind games that people play. Some people just come to suck up your energy. And you got to know how to answer it gracefully, whether you're a man or a woman.
Exactly. That's good. That's good. Anybody have anything before we get out of here?
Actually, yeah.
Come on.
Great show as usual, Raheem. You know, thank you for the platform. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all so much for having this open platform again, to be able to have the dialogue and the understanding. I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate and love everybody on here that come with their feedback. I love y'all so much.
Hey, love you as well, sis. Love you as well. Badger, you was about to say something?
After Captain Dennis threw me under the bus.
Right,
joking, by the way, joking.
I know, Jim.
But he's right. I really dislike labels
Mm-hmm.
because all I see is separation. And you know, almost most of the topics that get talked about here, and you know, sometimes I know it. You know, I've been asked to watch what I say and stuff sometimes, and I'm fine with that. What I'm looking at and what I observe is amazing people, all of us having a discussion and things. Yeah, a lot of times there can be arguments or judgment based on what someone says.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times those judgments come from personal belief or a bias.
Mm-hmm.
You know, either or sometimes they coincide. Yet to me, what's really important is you, Raheem, give us an amazing platform to promote change. And to me, that's what I focus on. That's why I say the things that I say and speak the way I speak and work really hard at weighing before I talk, because I'm about change for the better. And that's the way, you know, I've had to work hard to develop that mentality by working on my trauma, to learn to be thankful for my trauma because of the lessons that I learned from it. And learning to view life in a positive, open-minded manner, because I don't walk in other people's shoes. I walk in Badger's shoes. But that doesn't mean that everything I see or everything I observe is right, because what's right for me is not always going to be right for someone else. And to try to expect anyone else to believe what you believe, I feel is being biased, because even our kids will not believe 100% the exact same way we do. So why should we expect anyone to believe or to do things 100% the way we do? None of that makes sense when you step back take yourself out of the equation and look at it from an outside perspective with an open mind.
That's good. That's good. I'm looking at the clock. It's 10:05. Time for us to get out of here. Bishop, anything on your heart before we get out of here?
No, brother. Very appreciate the show. Thank you so much for the opportunity to hear, learn, and move forward in a positive direction. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Curtis? Curtis, anything on your mind before we get out of here, brother?
No, I mean, the only thing I can say is, man, I just try my best to stay away from identity politics, because what happens is you wind up gravitating towards an identity that is not your own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Leonard?
I don't have nothing else. It was great conversation. Right.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico, what is going on, man, at 3 o'clock on this day?
Man, I also comment, Curtis, about that identity politics, man. That's going to be a deep one when we get into it. If you missed today's broadcast and would like to see or hear the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
And Rico, let me say this to you, brother. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
She's back. Willow!
Oh, yeah, she's back. She's back. She's back. Bring it on.
Willow!
Hey, Ryan.
Are you ready?
Good morning, everybody. I am back. I am ready to receive the word of God today.
Well, Willow,
yes, I am.
You know what, Willow? Let's go. Let's go.
Amen. Amen. Let us all go before the throne of grace this morning, thanking God for allowing us to get up this morning and making the choice and choose to have a good day today. Father, we thank you so much for what you do for us in our lives. Father, thank you for the confidence that you give each and every last one, each and every day. Father, we love and honor you this morning. We glorify you, oh Lord, for the things that you have created in our lives. Thank you, Lord, for the protection. Thank you, Lord, for the health. Thank you, Lord, for all you do. Keep protecting our family. Touch each and every last one that's on this line. Keep them safe. Keep their family safe. Continue to give them knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Show them your ways and line them up with your will. I love you. I honor you. And I glorify you. In Christ Jesus' name. Amen. 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 Thank you, Lord.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Then I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:08. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light in you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. And please, please, please be blessed. Love you. Take care of one another.